Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey y'all, welcome and happy Friday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, hot topics, and all that good stuff. Hold on, why am I? I'm like, I was looking brighter than usual. But anyway, so if that's the show for you, definitely stick around because we got a lot of tea to spill today, including the Diddy sentencing just came down in about a little over an hour, so we'll break that down. Speaking of breaking down, someone he's sharing a prison with, Austin Wolf. We talked a little bit about his sentencing and stuff. Child, I went on a deep dive. I even read some of the government Department of Justice transcripts. And yeah, it's gonna be a little heavy with the stuff that we're gonna be talking about with that. So if you definitely want to stick around and know a little bit more about some of the stuff he was into, including I gagged over the race play stuff. He wanted to be. I'm not even gonna get into it right now. We're gonna wait till we get to the topic. So yeah, we're gonna break that down. Plus, we gotta break Cardi B and Nicki still fighting, or as they like to call it, she called the Barney B, and I'm gonna call her Sniffy Minaj. So these two are fighting on social media still. Cardi, I guess, said that she's done, but she put a final read in. We're gonna get into that because it got ugly, it got nasty, it got dark, it got twisted. They started bringing the kids into it, and then I saw some of y'all were trying to defend. Well, Cardi said no, she didn't. And I'm gonna break it on down. So, we'll get to that. T. Plus, speaking of feuds, Andy Cohen messy behind over there. Watch What Happens Live. Ask Mariah, do she still know Jennifer Lopez? So we'll get into that. Plus, Tyrese, I mean, I was waiting for this whole thing to just really manifest before I talked about it because I've been hearing about it for the past, what was it, like a week or two? Tyrese apparently got himself found in handcuffs because for animal cruelty stuff, because his dogs apparently unalived his neighbor's animal. So we'll get into that. And the neighbor wanted the press charges, all that stuff, and then Tyrese ended up getting arrested in Atlanta. So we're getting into that. Plus, the Kardashians is suing Ray J because Ray J out here being an attention-seeking mess. So we'll get into that because he's talking about that they caught up on some RICO charges. I think he knows some people named Rico, but he don't know what the hell a RICO charge is. So we're getting into that. Plus, I'm tired of talking about it, and I'm tired of them bringing it up. But it's in the news. Let's get into it. NSYNC apparently is preparing a 30th anniversary tour. They've been going back and forth on it, but because of the whole thing with Justin Timberlake, will they be able to do it with or without him? We'll get into that story. Plus, if you're interested in applying for RuPaul's Drag Race season 19, I got the tea for you, so we'll talk about that and a whole lot more. But before we get to those topics, if you have not already, please hit that like button, smash that notification bell, all that good stuff, so you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Apparently, my show is not live streaming over there on Facebook, but I did post the link and stuff. I don't know. Something's going on with Facebook. I got to figure out what the hell's going on with that because people posted, reported my Nicki Minaj. Somebody was promoting drug use, which it was a shady little meme of her with the straws up her nose and the pile of booger sugar on the table. Somebody shady, I'm sure, reported it. So I gotta watch what I be posting in because it's a problem. But I'm sure if I posted it on the Twitter, nobody would have said anything. But anyway, so yeah, and I'll put all the timestamps, all that stuff in once the live stream is done. So without further ado, I don't want to hold y'all any longer. Let me hit my banner. I already see we got comments already coming in. I'll check them right after. Look, I'm not even gonna edge y'all or none of that. We gonna get right into the tea. So it was revealed that we'll get to you can read it in the headline. He was given over 4 years in prison. But before we get to that, I am going to edge y'all a little bit, and I'm going to edge y'all in the fact of what had transpired before the whole sentencing situation came down. So his kids went, they was pleading, crying, Academy Award winning performances they were giving. Even 50 Cent took to social media being messy in the whole situation and decided to post a fake letter to the judge, Aaron Submaranian, which basically he was saying that he wanted the judge to consider the safety of the generational public before unleashing Diddy upon them. That would be the public. So here's what he said. He said, "Dear Judge Submaranian, I have had an ongoing dispute with Puffy because they always call him Puffy. Him and Wendy stay calling him Puffy for over 20 years. He is very dangerous. Multiple times I have feared for my Child, I have feared for my life. I think you should consider the safety of the general public, Your Honor, before unleashing him upon them. There hasn't been enough time for him to reform or make any adjustments, despite his trying to teach a class in there. As you are already aware, the government has spent the maximum amount of money on deploying federal agencies, which appears to be an army, in two locations simultaneously. Later, his son, who's dealing with his own R word allegations, claimed that the feds had hit the wrong house. Anyway, Diddy's only going to return to hiring more male sex workers and keep most of the baby oil away from the general public. And babies need it. My Netflix doc on this scandalous subject is coming soon. And I'm glad he addressed that at the end, because I was sitting there wondering, wait a minute, didn't 50 say that he was coming out with a docu series or whatever the case was on Diddy? I'm like, what happened with that? He probably was waiting until all of this came out before he decided to jump on the situation. But that's not all, because funny enough that 50 said that, because I never believed that Diddy was reformed. You cannot, I don't know how you're going to be reformed in a year and doing all this other stuff. And he did do all the pleading and everything. But here's the gag. So I came across this tweet that I want to show y'all, where they were basically talking about that he already booked public appearances and started making speaking arrangements. And this is supposed to be in Miami as soon as next week. So he thought he was getting out of jail. He thought that, oh, if I do all these little things, whatever, I'm going to be able to schmooze my way out of, the metropolitan prison down in Brooklyn. And it's like, sir, that was cute and it worked for you 30 years ago when you were able to slither your way out of that little pow pow situation where Sean went to jail for you for 10 damn years. And then you was able to slither your way out of the situation when you went and they had that whole stampede happen at the basketball celebrity event. You were able to slither your way out of things on the come up because you were making a lot of money for a lot of businesses, and you were able to finagle your way out of there. But then once your star started to wane, that was like karma was like, okay, bitch, I'm ready to collect. And collect she did. And that's why your ass is gonna spend almost 4 years and 2 months to be specific in prison. So yeah, I want to point that out to y'all. So do that sound like a man that has truly reformed and found the error of his ways by basically um saying like, okay, you did your time, but then you thought you was going to do time served, and then next week you was going to start doing little speaking arrangements or whatever the case is, because there's money in traveling and doing speaking arrangements. So now you're trying to basically reinvent yourself as like this guy who's pretty much reformed. When I'm looking at you with the side eye, I'm like, Denny, this is another damn con. So now I wanted to see if there was anything else that I needed to add to that. Oh yeah, so we need to talk about Diddy's letter, because I want to get to that. I want to scroll through all the other stuff, make sure. Okay, so they say in his letter to Judge Aaron Submaranian, Combs apologizes for assaulting his ex-girlfriend, singer Cassie Ventura, writing, "I literally lost my mind." Well, you should have said that a while ago, back when you did a little Instagram video, but nobody was buying it. Them eyes was yellower than somebody with lupus or kidney disease, and you was big and busy up in there sitting there talking about, oh, you said what you said, and then you deleted the Instagram video that you had up talking about how sorry you was with Cassie. I don't believe you. I don't think you was ever sorry, and I'm sure all those people that was sitting up there going hard for Diddy ass because y'all hate women and don't have respect for women, that y'all are probably gagging and eating your words and looking like boo boo the fool now, because a lot of y'all don't know how to talk to women, so, or know how to act around them. He also said that I'm sorry for that and always will be. My DV will always be a heavy burden that I will have to forever carry. Yes, you will, for the next 4 years and 2 months of prison, where you're gonna be sitting behind them four walls thinking about what the hell you did, and hopefully you actually will put in the work to rehabilitate yourself. Hopefully you'll be able to do that and not just giving a bunch of damn word salad because you thinking that's gonna get your behind up out of there. So they said he also apologized to an anonymous woman who testified during the trial under the name Jane, and says he became lost in the drugs and the excess. Well, child, I told you that, and I wasn't even doing the shit you was doing. He said, I lost my way. My downfall was rooted in my selfishness. I have been humbled and broken to my core. Well, I think this is probably the most honest he's been since this whole situation went down. Well, I always say, in the words of JoJo, it's too little too late. So then Combs' accusers also wrote to the judge describing how he wielded his power and influence to ruin their lives and their fears that he would seek revenge if freed, saying, I am so scared that if he walks free, his first actions will be swift retribution towards me and others who spoke up. He basically gonna challenge the other person that's slightly tan, the president, except his tan is fake. She added that she believes he deserves a long sentence, writing, he has no interest in changing or becoming better. He will always be the same cruel, power hungry, manipulative man that he is. And I totally agree with that. Because I've been talking about how cruel, power hungry, and manipulative Diddy has been long before all of this stuff was coming out. I've been screaming from the rooftops that that man was nothing but the devil. But you know, when people have money, power, and access, they don't want to hear it. They look the other way. They don't care because, oh, he rich. I don't give a good goddamn how rich somebody is. You see all these rich people running around doing all the things they doing in this country, and does that make it any better? So then Holmes went on to ask the judge for mercy, not only for my sake, but for not for the sake of your children. This is giving Kill Bill tease. Beseech you on behalf of my daughter. I was like, bitch, let's not go there. It's like you are not going to sit up here and use your child as a Sloman shield to get past or children because you had a bunch of them. She only had, Vernita Green only had one kid, and with you, you got six. I guess we're including Quincy, even though that he didn't come from your dick. You didn't shoot him up. You didn't shoot up Kim Porter, in order to get Quincy. Y'all know I'll be short child. So, so, um, with all the kids, like, don't do that, sir. So yeah, he said, damn, I lost my place because when I be going in, sometimes I just be going a little too a little too left. Let me bring it back. Okay. Oh yeah, I found it. And then it said, for the sake of his children, he also asked the judge to consider his seven. Okay, he has seven kids. My bad. And his 84-year-old mother, who recently had she had brain surgery. I did not know that Janice had brain surgery. But then again, some people said that Janice was kind of the mastermind behind a lot of the things, like what a lot of the way that Diddy became. Remember when she used to have her little freak offs at their house when he was growing up, and him and his cousin, the cousin was saying that him and Diddy was exposed to a lot of people in the rooms on the weekends, hunching and doing all kinds of stuff. So he probably learned about the whole pimp lifestyle from Janice. So you got enough people that I guess you still paying on the payroll and them kids who are benefiting wholeheartedly from living off of your earnings and the things that you made or accumulated over the years in the business as a mogul, as a producer, as an artist, and all the other things, fashion designer, the endeavors and the liquor line. I'm sure that all that money that you probably still got saved up, that you got plenty of them seven children, choose one that can help take care of Janice. So they don't need you. You'll be fine. Where you at? So they said in July, a jury acquitted him in the most severe charges, racketeering and trafficking, which could have resulted in him spending the rest of his life behind bars. He was found guilty of 2 counts of transportation engaged in prostitution. They also said that, well, prosecutors said that he's unrepentant and argued the rapper should spend a minimum of 11 years in prison. Well, look, he didn't get the 11 years. 11 years. You didn't sacrifice, but you gonna spend the time that you spending. So now, yeah, they said he was taken into custody in September last year, so he'll have more than a year of credit towards his incarceration. The judge also fined him $500,000 and offered 5 years of supervised release once Quint Combs leaves prison. So yeah, he's gonna spend the 4 years, and that's basically like 9 years. You're doing 4 years and 2 months. When you get out, you got 5 years. You're gonna have to. It's gonna be supervised release. So if y'all thinking that this man gonna get out and start doing the things that he was doing, it's like no, we're gonna be keeping an eye on you. Kind of similar to the Austin Wolf situation. Like once he's done with his 19 years, then he's got to spend another decade of being supervised. And then they also said, to give a little more detail, Combs was sentenced under the Mann Act, which it basically means it is illegal to transport someone across state lines for the purpose of prostitution or other illegal sex acts. Combs was convicted of counts involving 2 former girlfriends, that would be Cassie and a woman who testified under the pseudonym Jane, who we already mentioned in this situation. So then they also said, well, they always mention that he apologized to the judge for his disgusting, shameful behavior and said that it was sick and all those things. He also told the judge that his DV is a burden that he'll have to carry for the rest of his life. We addressed that. Prosecutors had, of course, y'all knows, they want him to do 11 years, but he got the 4 and 2 months. And then they also, and then the judge went and said this, that which basically played a lot in his decision, even though some people are saying that he should have gotten more time. They're saying, he said, Jane and Cassie Ventura have been through abuse and trauma we couldn't imagine. I can only say your families are proud of you and your children will be proud of you for coming to the court to tell you what really happened. You weren't just talking to the jury, you were talking to the women who feel powerless. The judge who sent Combs away for multiple years behind bars encouraged the disgraced artist to make the most of his second chance, saying being a champion and uplifting Black and Brown communities, that's what you set out to do at the beginning of your career decades ago. Your letter said you lost your way, but there's a true path to redemption here. What went wrong and what can be made right? So, um, yeah, and he's absolutely right. It's like, yeah, if that was your intention, because we've seen the things that Diddy has done for the community, but a lot of times I be side-eyeing it because I be like, oh, you did what you did for the community, but then it's like y'all get caught up in the money, the power, the fame, the temptation, all those things, and then it's like regular sex don't become enough, so y'all gotta really push as hard as you can to get that same feeling you got when you was getting off with the regular sex. So you start pushing the boundaries, you start getting abusive, then you start doing the prostitutes, then you got to do all kinds of other freaky things. Like this is what they do. A lot of these rich folks do. Like regular sex. Some of the things y'all think is freaky, that not to them. They already been there, done that, wore the t-shirt. So they always got to try to find a way to push the boundaries because when you have so much money, power, and excess and access, I'm using both. You got to be able to do what you got to do to get your rocks off. So, um, I do think that 4 years and 2 months is not enough, but that's what he gave him. At least he's still doing time, and that goes to show you, sir, that you really thought that after all of this and the way the trial and stuff was sensationalized and how it all went about, that month and what was it, like 6 weeks that you were on trial in New York, that you really thought that, oh, you was just gonna get out. It's like, no, sir, I knew from the beginning you were doing time. So that's what he doing. So yeah, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? This is the latest on the Diddy situation. Hopefully, we can move on from all of it. I do wonder if he's actually going to be doing time in where he's at. Or are they planning on moving him to like Rikers or something or another? That's what I want to know. And if I do, and if it does, I'm probably no. I'm not going to put somebody. I know a couple of COs at Rikers. I'm not going to put them on blast. So I'm gonna just be quiet. Because I'll be like, I want to know, do you know what block he in? I don't want to get y'all fired because y'all working to get y'all pensions. You almost there, and I want to mess it up because I'm trying to be nosy. I mean, I'll find out, and then I'll let y'all know. But let me know what y'all think of this story in the comments down below. All right, 4 hours is better. 4 hours, this better be juicy. I was like, 4 hours. What happened? Is Oyster gonna live alone because he's not safe at all? Live alone where? In jail? I'm thinking I wonder if they're gonna have him either in Gen Pop or um what do you call it? Like in solitary confinement. I feel like that would drive him crazy even more than anything. And he thought it's on the very disappoint not the life of a chop hoe. Well, first of all, I was asked about it earlier. Oh my God, I forgot to tell Adante. Somebody fan out and let him know. He said, let him know when I go live. And I forgot to do it because I was busy putting the show together. But and he thought I didn't listen to it. So that's exactly what I told him. I was like, I haven't listened to it. I didn't have time to listen to it because I was running around. I went to Costco. I went to buy like storage containers and all this other stuff. So I've been running around doing a lot of stuff. And then when I got back, I had to put the show together, all this other stuff. I haven't had the time to listen to it, but I will listen to it tomorrow. It's the AARP covering their reunion. Who you talking about? NSYNC? Sort of release party of a showgirl, another five. Well, you know what? I noticed all the major trades are giving 5 stars. A lot of people think that Rolling Stone hasn't been relevant in a long time. They've given a lot of mid albums um high points. Also, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the people who have been speaking out about this album have pretty much been saying what Onyx is saying, that it's the best she's sounded in a while. Lyrically, there's some good stuff there, but they felt a little let down with some of the stuff. I guess like with the production. I guess maybe and then he was saying like how the overall visuals, the cover art, all that stuff you doing with the showgirl, it doesn't kind of match what you was doing with the music. Like if you give me a showgirl, I was thinking you gonna go full Kylie Minogue in that way, but no. I don't know, but look, let me tell you who I'm really excited about, and that's based off them snippets I heard. The new Robin album. She previewed some songs or whatever the case is at Mew Mew's had some clips and stuff on their Instagram, and they previewed some songs from the new album, and I'm like, okay, bitch, like that album and the upcoming Madonna record, which I'm hearing is rumored to be called Algorithm, and it's going to be 70s and 80s dance inspired, but a little more, but more brought into the future. If that is true, I'm like, okay, those are the two albums I'm highly anticipated of listening to. Man, what's OT? Oh, you said that's it. 4 years, 4 years is a light sentence. He must have had a well, yeah. I mean, a lot of the other more serious charges were dropped. So I guess him mulling back and forth, it was like the most we could give is that would make sense, and I kind of get it. 4 years, 2 months, and then when you get out of jail, you get 5 extra years of supervised It's a supervised situation, so it's almost like a decade, and then with the year that he did, that's time served. So I feel like in a way, it's sort of a 10-year sentence he's doing, but the 4 years you get to stand behind bars. You already did one of the half of the. You already did 1 year, so We're gonna knock that off. It's time served, and then you got to do the supervised stuff when you get out. So it's basically you doing a decade of prison, even though once you get out, you still gonna be in prison because you still got to follow the guidelines of what you've been put. That's true. He didn't deal with kids. I mean, he had kids, and I guess he was dealing with them. I don't think he was abusive or whatever towards his children. Maybe he might have been mentally abusive. And then, like 50 Cent said, you got one of your other children, King Combs, who's got his own SA charges that he's dealing with. So I wonder what's going to happen with that. I wonder if he's in. Wait, if he's in the you talking about the Epstein files? I wouldn't be surprised. They said, and on the 30th anniversary of the. Ooh, that's shady. You said, and on the 30th anniversary of the OJ verdict. Is that when that today was the 30th anniversary? I hate that because I remember exactly where I was when I heard that damn verdict. I was in school at the time, and they made a whole thing. Black people was happy, white people was pissed. And now, when we look back on it, it was like, okay, we did that. We kind of knew that he did it, but we did it out of spite because we was tired of white people committing crimes against black folks and getting away with it. So he benefited wholeheartedly at that time. Unfortunately, the ones who didn't were the Menendez brothers because too much stuff was going on at that time. It was the Rodney King situation, it was the OJ situation, and it was so much going on at that time in the early 90s that um somebody had to go down. They was like, oh no, you colors are getting away with too damn much. So they had to make an example out of the Menendez brothers. Speaking of which, I gotta watch that Ed Gein show that came out. Monsters. There's so many things that came out today. We got the Ed Gein, we got the what the hell's her name? Miss Tayonce Swift. Then we have VHS, Halloween. Like there's so many things that came out. I gotta do a little catching up later. Him planning speaking engagements while on lockdown was definitely a component to his jail time. Between that, from him and Eric Adams. Well, then that's probably gonna bring some truth to the fact that they said that the president promised Eric Adams illiterate sounding ass because he always sounded like he just learned how to read an hour ago. Like he always sound like, and there's no shade, but don't he sound like Um, like somebody who escaped the plantation and literally just learned how to read. That's whenever I hear Eric Adams talk, he gives me that. He gives me like, I just escaped off the plantation. I was secretly learning how to read, and now I done made it over to the north. Like that's what he gives whenever I hear him talk. I cannot stand the way he talks. He sounds illiterate. But um I remember hearing a story that maybe it is some truth to the fact that he was asked, I will give you a position in the White House if you drop out so that way your votes can go towards Cuomo so that way we could beat Mamdani, which we all know that's not gonna happen. So you don't run shit over here, sir. I mean, if you did, you wouldn't have felt the need to be run out of New York. We don't like him here. So people are being less tolerant of them doing things that show they are not thinking of the consequences for the okay. That's exactly what it is. They really think that because they got money and all that other stuff that they can get away with, they're gonna get away with. The judge was like, "Not today, Satan, not today." Rolling Stone gave Cowboy Carter a child by. First of all, y'all already know that Cowboy Carter was a chop. Renaissance also. I mean, while I did enjoy some songs off of that album, it definitely felt like a bunch of damn uh demos. It didn't feel like really. It didn't feel like finished music. But because it's Beyonce, she can do no wrong. Like I said, that's all I need to know about Rolling Stone to know their plays. I mean, I've been saying that for years. Rolling Stone ain't been relevant. Oh yeah, Melanie C tried that's Sweat song. I believe that is I don't know if that RuPaul covered that on his Foxy Lady album. That was the sophomore record. I don't know if that's an original RuPaul track or if that was a cover of somebody else's song. I can't remember, but that song is I don't know if it's a reference, like a what do you call it, an interpolation, like she took pieces of that and it's an original track, but I'll have to know when I hear the song. So there's a lot of good music coming out. Pop music is definitely gonna be gagging the children in 2026. I saw a video where someone said some of the songs on Taylor's album seem like they the gag. I wasn't expecting an old Hollywood X Tina Back to Basics expired album, but I also wasn't expecting cookie cutter pop music meant for speakers at not Target. The same reaction I had to Mayhem. Well, damn. Well, look, no shade, but I have not really listened to Mayhem like that. I only listen. I only if I do listen to Mayhem, I go back for like maybe 3 songs in that record. That would be, of course, I like Disease, I like Abracadabra, and I'll probably just throw on Zombie Boy. And the rest of the album, I'm just like, okay, I've had enough. I feel like you sell this album much more on this tour than actually listening to it, you know, in my speakers. Who was I listening to yesterday? I was listening to a lot of DJ mixes because I was working out at the gym and all this other stuff. Oh, oh yeah. I remember. I was listening to the Lord because let me tell y'all, I forgot to tell you, the Lord concert. Oh my God, I got my life. First of all, she performed down. She stripped at one point. She even had duct tape on her boobs. I'm like, is this a whole non-binary binding situation that she had going on? Like, there's a period where she gets on stage in like a tank top, panties, and no shoes, nothing, thrashing around the stage. There was a lot of LGBT people in the audience. Then there's a point where she, like, towards the end, where she walks through the crowd. There's like a B stage, which of course is the second stage that they have because she had a half pit, and then she had like chairs and stuff behind the pit. So she had a B stage that was like this. It looked like a tiny little go-go box that she gets on. She does like 2 songs, closes out with ribs, and then they were, I guess, security and everybody was getting on. And because she was telling them, come close, come close. She was like, they're fine, let them come close. Because she wanted like not them to be confined to their seats and everything. She wanted to kind of have the closest of the audience. And I'm like, she put on a show. It was a lot going on. She only has the band, herself, and 2 backup dancers, and they were doing all kinds of crazy stuff on the stage, a lot of lights, a lot of things moving around on stage. And I thought it was a relatively good show. I was like, I'm glad I got scheduled for that one because Lord 8. And she even I felt like with a lot of the songs that was on that record, she sold a lot of it listening to it live. So I was like, that was a good show. Let me tell you. And then when was it? Oh, during Green Light, she said "Free Palestine." The children went crazy, and I felt chills when she was performing that song. That was my, Green Light is one of my favorite damn songs. She did Royal, she did all the other songs, and then and I've never done this. When I'm done with a show, I don't put on the artist's music and listen to it. I did that for her show because normally I'm just like, okay, I heard enough of your music. I'm ready to move on. But I've been in a weird mood lately. Like I've been listening to a lot of Tame Impala. I was listening to. I don't know if I tagged you, Cleveland. My apologies because I see you in here. Because I was trying to remember. I don't know. Facebook has been working my nerve. Like I can't. The links and stuff is not working over there in regards to trying to connect the show to that channel. But so that's why I put the whole tagging thing in there. But anyway, so I was listening to Lord. Then after that, I put on Billie Eilish. I don't know. I was in a Billie Eilish mood. Then I started listening to Tame Impala. So I think I'm in more of an alternative record era situation. I think that's where my mood is right now. The whole visual aesthetic of this album was very deceiving. Okay. Well, damn, y'all got me really not having high hopes of this record. I'm gonna listen to it tomorrow while I'm, cleaning up. Lord, on the other hand, released my fourth favorite album this year. Makes me kind of sad her album came and went. It came and went, but let me tell you something. She sold out Madison Square Garden. The kids is living for her. So the tour the album may not be doing all that great, but the tour definitely, she's doing her big one. Felix is in the building. I'm glad that who's the other one that always comes up in the comments? Only want to single out Cleveland. Is it? It was a good record. I know what you did last summer. Well, damn, that was quick. The new one, because I just saw that they uploaded. I still know what you did last summer. They put that up on there. The original one I think is on Prime Video, but I what? I knew this bitch was in the damn comments. It said this is Midnight and matches the visual of the 70s. Well, you know what? Maybe what I'll do is I'll listen to Midnights and right after I'll listen to the Life of the Showgirl and see. But they were trying to say, don't y'all be out here thinking it's 1989 part two. That's what they were saying. And so I haven't like Tame Impala's recent single. Dracula's cute. I like Joe Keery. Um, I've heard Loser. I didn't see the video. I gotta see the new FKA Twigs video actually. I was like, we could talk a little bit. We don't have a whole lot of topics. We only got like 7 topics left for the show. So this is cute. What we doing? And I'm gonna get to the next topic in a second. But I was listening to a lot of Tame Impala's old music. Didn't he work on who album he worked on that flopped? I can't remember. Wasn't it Dula Peep? Didn't he work on Dula Peep's album and it went and it flopped? Radical Optimism. I could have sworn he worked on that. Blu-ray comes out. Oh, the Blu-ray. Oh, so I get well. Thank you, whoever. Basically, let him know that I was in the wrong. It's nothing groundbreaking. Taylor released a great pop instrumental album. The lyrics are childish stuff. Well, look, that's what Felix said up top. That somebody said the lyrics of lady was written in Chat GPT. That's what happens when you on an Eras tour and you trying to invoke a feeling instead of being like, you know what? Let me ask Max Martin and that whole Swedish team to kind of come out and help me with the writing. But when you be trying to act like you could be a jack of all trades, sometimes you might need a little help. And I don't mind getting a little co-writer. No dance music or bangers, but it's a side of Max Martin. People forget he was. No, I remember he used to do rock music. One of the things about Max Martin, he has jumped in so many different genres of music. He didn't just do like Robin, Ace of Base, Britney Spears, Backstreet Boy. Like he didn't just only do that kind of music. He did everything. Yeah, that's why I was like, I knew it was somebody. I just want to make sure if it was Dula Peep, and you confirmed. She basically said the lyrics came from her journals and 3 a.m. Well, she does definitely. Her lyrics are very much like she writes like they straight out of a journal. Homegirl is burnt out. You can't release every damn year and have absolutely, and that's what I've been saying too. That's why I'm like, I feel like that's why a lot of us are more hungry for Robin versus y'all just be so caught up on I'm like, girl, you just came out with an album last year. You just finished the tour. Now you coming out with a new record. Like, you can go away for a minute. You'll be fine. Your fans got enough music from you that you don't need to be dropping no more stuff. I figured that you was I figured that you was talking about Tay Tay. But you don't have to always drop new music every year. That's why I'm like, yeah, 7 years sis was too damn much, but at least the anticipation is high because you took time away to make, do what you had to do, and then now that hunger is there. Same thing with Madonna. Like I think this is the longest she's ever taken away from releasing a record. What was it, like 6 years? And now she got a new album coming out. My favorite song from the life, not a life of a Chapo, is the soul acoustic song on the album. I like Midnights a lot, but I like Tortured Poets more. She's addicted to work, saying that what's vacation? Well, look, if you're addicted to work, okay, you don't need to release music. You could just be like, okay, I'm in the mood to go on a tour again. Like you don't always have to release music until I'm addicted to work. Like if the feeling is there that you want to be like, let me just go and plan a cute little tour. I got an idea. And maybe if you want to just drop a couple of songs, like an EP or something, then I'm like, okay, that's cute. Just to accommodate the tour or have new material to perform. But if you're in the mood to just be out there touring, then go on another tour. Not a 10th morning writing prompt. Because I think I just like Taylor when she's in her bag songwriting wise. This is just pop music with no cohesion or concept. I've learned to expect that from her in the 2020s. It's not as cohesive as 1989. Yeah, I mean, look. Well, look, when the shit hit the fan, then maybe she'll learn her lesson. Because sometimes some people need to be knocked down a keg. It's like the ego is getting, Don't she have a song where she talks about Travis Kelsey penis? Like you was talking about his ex girlfriend, and you was talking about Charlie XCX, which I thought about doing that story, but I was like, it's a nothing burger when I was reading up about it. Talking about her booger sugar habit. We don't know that. Never mind. I don't think Taylor has much of a life outside of work. She don't, which is why she always spends time with Travis and all that other stuff. Joe Ryder, her best albums, Folklore and wait, who's Joe Ryder? Are you saying that her best albums are Folklore Evermore? That's where her best writing is? Prince also used to put out an album every year. As big a fan as I am, I do feel some of his. Well, yeah, I do agree with you on that. That's why, to be honest, out of all the, remember the Mount Rushmore of '80s pop, that would be Madonna, Prince, Michael Jackson, and Whitney Houston. When you think of all of them, first of all, Whitney never wrote her song, so you could just give her music and she sing it down, or whatever the case was. Which is not a dig because everybody is not required to have to be a writer in order to feel connected to a song. That's why I hate when, especially Americans, getting this thing of, oh, you're not talented if you don't write your own stuff. It's like fall into a ditch with nails at the bottom of it because you don't know what you're talking about. Not everybody has the ability to songwrite, but some people have experiences. Some people have ideas. Then you hire somebody who actually has that talent that can help channel whatever it is that you need to channel. So there's so many other ways you could be an artist besides, oh, I have to be a singer songwriter. Nobody takes you seriously unless you write your own shit or you play an instrument. Kind of like that little shady post that I did about Gaga, where somebody said that she is the Madonna of this generation. I was like, first of all, Metro, because that's who wrote it. Let's not do that to Madonna. First of all, don't do that to Stephanie Joanne Germanata. She don't like being compared to Madonna because she said, nice lady, but I play my own instruments, even though Madonna played the drums when she was in the Breakfast Club. That was a band she was in before she went solo, and she played the guitar. She didn't play it all that well, but like during the whole Drown World Tour era, that's when she really started getting into playing the guitar, and she was like in the throes of learning. And I was like, she don't like being compared to her because, like she said, she's like, I play my own instruments, and a lot of them think that because you play your own instruments and you're a songwriter, whatever the case is, that makes you a true artist. And it's like that's one form of being an artist because not everybody has the talent to write. I think she's also starting to feel the pressure before she starts being considered old to kids. But yeah, because she's what, 36, about to be. He probably was. But yeah, oh, so speaking of which, because I forgot to finish what I was saying about Lanier's comment when he was talking about Prince and all the other stuff. It's like I like Prince, I like the idea of Prince. He has some really good songs, but I could never really get into him wholeheartedly as much as I loved Whitney and Michael and well, I like Janet more, no shade. But Whitney and Madonna and them because it was like you want to do everything. And he did everything. He played all the instruments. He wrote all the songs. He did everything. Like he's a musical genius. But I do feel like after a while, and you kept changing your name, the new power generation, the revolution, and all that other stuff. It's like you kept changing your name, and then you would create these other people. Like you had Apollonia and Vanity, and of course Carmen Electra, who we gave that name to, and so many others. That it was just like, yeah, the whole control aspect. It just his music started to suffer. So I couldn't wholeheartedly get behind Prince as much as so many other people did. My thing is she's 35 and her music doesn't reflect that. It doesn't show growth. Whereas Madonna had erotica, Beyonce had, yeah. Wait, why am I drawing a blank? What's ST? And Jen had over, but you're right. It's like, yeah, um her music doesn't show reflection of growth. It's like you're literally doing the same thing. And you can't be 35 with the mentality of a 12-year-old. Like it's cute or whatever, but it gets old after a while. And there comes a point that you have to start showing growth and your audience is growing with you. So if you plan on trying to have a career in your 40s and beyond, which a lot of these artists, like a Beyonce, who has been able to manifest a career and evolve in her 40s, as well as Madonna, who is 67 and has still been able to evolve her music and probably will evolve it again with this upcoming album. You have to be able to evolve your stuff. And I do agree, she hasn't shown growth. But that was one, and you know what? That's another reason why I preferred Janet over Michael, because I felt like Janet always took risks with her sound. Whereas Michael had some cute songs, but it started sounding a little samey after a while. She 35, still writing about bots. Not bot, I mean, you to my boys when she went that she went to high school with and about friendship drama. And it's like, girl, you engaged. Like, we know you taking dick. I got annoyed because she tries to make herself seem like funny you say that because I remember when I was a kid and I was learning to play classic piano. Those were like the people that were the inspirations. It was Amadeus, that would be Mozart, and then of course it was Ludwig von Beethoven. Say that 10 times fast. And then of course there was Bach. There were so many other artists that I had to like study and stuff growing up. So that was like when you said she seemed like Beethoven because of the whole classic piano thing. That's why I cackled. Oh, you said subtitle. I don't know why I couldn't think of ST. Look, we don't have to abbreviate in here. You know, I'm gonna have a brain fart. She tapped it on the. She definitely gives asexual tease. I get that from her. Like, am I the only one that can't imagine Taylor Swift actually spreading her legs and taking pain? Like, I really don't think her. That's probably why them gay rumors came out with Travis because nobody believed him to his hunching. MJ became serious after the allegations he couldn't keep writing like Peter Pan. Okay. Have you seen my childhood? Maybe an 1800s lesbian did possess Taylor when she wrote Evermore. I'm screaming. Yeah. And she needs to take more of a Joni Mitchell approach because, to be honest, Taylor Swift does remind me, she is kind of like a this generation's Joni Mitchell. She gives that vibe. So if that's kind of like what you're going for, you could just mature your lyrics. I'm not saying you got to be out. That's why I found it weird, even seeing the Life of the Showgirl aesthetic. It's like this is the most this is the least we've seen with you clothing wise. So it was like a little weird seeing her like that because you never kind of presented yourself in that way. But anyway, let's get back into the show because we got to get into this messy story where we went from Diddy to somebody that's apparently in the same prison as him. Let's talk about Austin Wolf. So we talked a little bit about Austin Wolf over what was it? The last time I was on was like 2 days ago, where we revealed that he was sentenced on 2 counts related to child sexual exploitation. Federal prosecutors basically announces on the 29th, this past Monday. So Justin Heath Smith, gay adult performer known as Austin Wolf, will spend 19 years in prison. U.S. District Judge Paul A. Engelmayer sentenced the 44, I almost said 14. No, that's what he liked to fuck. 44-year-old on Monday after he pleaded guilty this summer to enticing a minor. The hearing capped a turbulent case that began in Smith's arrest in 2024. And so, upon further deep dive, because I wound up getting the transcripts and everything, I gagged when I was reading some of the stuff up in there. And not only that, but I also found it quite interesting that, well, Out Magazine definitely did a good story on this, by the way. So Justin Heath Smith's crimes against children are horrible. This is what U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Jay Clayton, said in a statement, saying he targeted kids as young as 7, and every New Yorker wants him and those like him off our streets for as long as possible and never again near our children. Now, in it was the memorandum. I don't know why I couldn't think of what I said. Transcript, same shit, right? So, in a 15-page memorandum dated September 22nd, prosecutors request that the court impose a sentence near the top of the federal guidelines range, 188 to 235 months, or about 15 and a half to 19 and a half years. They characterized Smith as a serial predator whose crimes extended beyond the 15-year-old victim at the sense of his guilty plea. According to the government, Smith conspired with other men to exploit minors, solicited sexually explicit content from teenagers, and attempted to meet children as young as 9 and 12 to hunch. Now, now here's the stuff that I started reading. I'm gonna probably just scroll through some of them, but one says when I what was it, to the Honorable Paul A. Engelmayer, and this is from September 22nd. They said the government respectfully submits the letter in advance of the September 29, 2025 sentencing of defendant Justin Smith. For the reasons set forth below, a sentence at the top end of the applicable United States sentencing guidelines range is necessary and appropriate in this case. And so, hold on, because I'm gonna actually pull it up for y'all so we could read it as a class. Hope you'll be able to see it. But if you want a big screen TV, you'll probably be able to see it better. So what it says, okay, so the offense conduct and additional conduct. On June 26, 2024, Smith was charged by compliance in the case with CP offenses. The government's investigation continued, and after the defendant repeated sexual exploitation of children came to light, the defendant ultimately pleaded guilty to an information charging him with one count of enticement of a minor in violation of. Wait, hold on. Let me try to make this bigger because I am literally struggling to read this. I was like, bitch, make it bigger. Um, in violation of 18 USC 2422B and 2, which carries a 10-year mandatory minimum. The offense conduct arises from a sexual encounter between Smith, an adult co-conspirator, and a 15-year-old minor who's victim number 1. Additionally, pursuant to a plea agreement, Smith agreed not to contest additional conduct involving his enticement or attempted enticement of minors, production of CP, and receipt and distribution of CP. Attachment A to the plea agreement, which sets forth the conduct that Smith is not contesting, is attached to this submission. Some of Smith's conduct included the offense conduct to which Smith pleaded guilty was committed with CC1, with whom Smith conspired to SA minors on multiple occasions. On some occasions, Smith organized and hosted or attempted to organize and host the sexual exploitation of minors at his apartment and invited CC1 on at least one occasion. CC1 organized and hosted the exploitations of victim 1 in CC1's apartment and invited Smith. Now let's get to the next one. So then they had Smith and CC1 have a threesome with a 15-year-old minor. In late 2023 or early 2024, CC1 began chatting with the minor victim 1 on Snapchat. This was the juice I wanted to get to. I mean, not juice because this is like people reliving their trauma, whatever the case was, but this is like stuff that he was doing that a lot of y'all need to be aware of. So I don't want to hear nobody making no more excuses for this disgusting, average looking mother flower with a 4-inch dick on social media. So yeah, so they were on Snapchat doing that. An adult man falsely told victim 1 that he was 17. Victim 1 told CC1 his correct age, which was 15. Victim 1 and CC1 engaged explicit photographs and videos, including videos of Victim 1 pleasuring themselves. CC1 then arranged for him and Smith to meet with Victim 1 in person. Victim 1 went to CC1's house where he met CC1 and Smith. CC1 performed a baloney wash on Victim 1 while Smith pleasured himself. PSR 23 attachment A4. After the encounter, CC1 and Smith told Victim 1 not to tell anyone about it. Well, if you was all about what y'all was doing was the right thing, why we got to keep it a secret? because you knew what you was doing was wrong. You're a disgusting, deplorable human being that should be buried under the goddamn jail. But anyway, let's get into the rest of this. So victim one and Smith also communicated directly by Snapchat after the encounter. Victim one later reported that he did not remember if Smith touched him. Snapchat communications between CC1 and Smith appear to discuss the planned exploitation of victim one, which basically had like the whole transcript. It said he's in school right now, so maybe later in the day or something. Smith said, "Yes, I'm down." CC1 said, "Problem my place again if you're okay with that." Then he asked Smith, "Can I tell him who you are?" So then Smith deleted some posts, probably because he was going back and forth on trying to decide, should I let this person know who I am or not? But then he goes and finally settles on, yeah, that's fine. And then CC1 said, "I won't." Oh, wait. So CC1 said, "Yeah, that's fine. I won't." So basically, I guess what the deleted was, he was like, I don't want you to let me know. I'm based off the way he said, I'm assuming that he was like, "No, don't let him know." But I'm like, but you wanted them to meet up with the person anyway. So I guess he found a way to get the boy to go over there with this, to have sex with this grown man. And then Smith said, "If he will let you record me with my phone only." And so CC1 lets Austin know that he's a virgin. So victim one's age was subsequently confirmed in an FBI forensic interview, and then they said these messages do not mention victim one by name, but the date of the messages, which was October 17, 2024, is consistent with the timeline reported by victim one. And then the conversation continued after the counter said he just left. We talked about computer stuff. He's a little nerd. And then it said, but said he was feeling good and not worried about anything. And then Smith goes, he's perfection. And then CC1 puts a devil emoji. So then B, this is where it gets a little dark. And this is where he tries to SA a 9-year-old. So now in January 2024, another man, CC2, told Smith that CC2 was babysitting a 9-year-old child. CC2 invited Smith to SA the child. Smith enthusiastically accepted. While some of the Telegram chats between Smith and CC2 were deleted and others involved coded language, the context of the conversation is clear, including conversations about the age of potential victims, where CC2 goes, "What's the lowest digit you are willing to go?" Smith said, "I'll travel to any street." And then CC2 says, "Perfect, because one of my buds is between first and second." As in grade? And then it goes, "Alphabet City." Smith says, "Cool." Then CC2, so we can go there too. Brutal or gentle? And Smith is like, "Both." CC2, "Great." And then he asks him if he wants to film it. And then we call him Austin because that's what y'all know him as. He says no, and then CC2 agrees to not film it. So now the reference to first and second in Alphabet City appear to be references to the age of children, whether rather than to streets and neighborhoods. This is evidence from the fact that Smith and CC2's intended victim did not live in those streets or in that neighborhood. It is also evident from the context of the surrounding conversation, a discussion of Smith's sexual child sex preferences. Smith also went to significant lengths to confirm that CC2 was a real person, including making CC2 send him a video in which CC2 says the address of the apartment where the purported minor child was going to be. The Telegram messages between Smith and CC2 show the following sequences of events. On January 5th of 2024, the offendant got dressed, headed out of his apartment, and walked over to the purported child's building in Manhattan. He updated CC2 on his location and estimated arrival time. On the way, CC2 sent Smith his game plan for what to do at the apartment. Smith arrived outside the reported child's building and waited for CC2 to come down. At the last moment, CC2 told Smith that the child's parent was coming home sooner than expected, and then the encounter would have to be rescheduled. So this person, who I hope that the person that was babysitting this kid and basically exploiting them, you should be doing time too. Because if I'm leaving you in charge of my kid to be watching them, and you're putting them in harm's way because you want to get over some old tired ass porn star with average looks and a baby's dick, and you doing all of this shit for why? Because it's some type of endorphin situation that you're getting on. No, your ass need to be under the jail right along with Austin for putting something like this. Because I'm sitting there thinking like I'm trusting my kid in the hands of this person, and me as a parent and my partner, whatever, we're all trying to have a night out, and I got to worry about my child being victimized because you doing what you doing. Oh, I'd have, well, it's either you going from the jail. I'm going to jail for homicide. That's what it would have been. So they said the two men met downstairs. Smith was mortified, oh, mollified. He couldn't have been mortified doing all the shit he doing. He thinking this is cute. Smith was mollified and shared his phone number with CC2 as a gesture of trust. They had previously communicated only through Telegram. The two men stayed in touch for the next few months and discussed a potential makeup date, though none came to pass. Well, that was good on that kid part that nothing happened, but you was doing all of this. And then he goes and induces a 15-year-old minor to produce CP. So in February 2024, he began chatting with a minor on Snapchat and Telegram. The minor told Smith his correct age, which was 15. Smith and the minor then exchanged photographs and engaged in, oh, this is the crazy part. This is the race play one I was telling y'all about. He engaged in race play, among other things. Smith called victim two a good little nigga, and victim two referred to Smith as massa, which means, well, we know what the hell it means, Chad. Smith asked victim two to send me some vids. Victim two then sent Smith, among other things, a video showing victim two's front and back. Y'all can pretty much guess what I mean by that. I'm trying to be as clean as I can on YouTube, but I already know it's hard. But y'all can probably see in the transcripts was there. Anyway, let's get back to it. This is gonna be the last one because I'm not going through all of this. Um, if y'all want to read the rest of the transcripts, y'all can go on my Facebook page. I have the link to it and stuff there. Okay, so I mean not Facebook page. It's on my chrisavalon.com. What am I talking about? Okay, so um okay, I found where I was at. Now they said in a subsequent interview, victim two stated that at least one video was created specifically for Smith at his request. Victim two's age was subsequently confirmed by an FBI forensic interview. Smith is white. Victim two is African American. Well, obviously, if you call somebody a good little nigga and you're basically calling this white man massa, the hell did you? I mean, what did you expect? Obviously, he black. Oh yes, and then there's another one where he attempts to meet a purported 12-year-old. But like I said, y'all already got the gist. We don't need to keep going further and further. If y'all want to read more on it, you can do that. But in regards to the rest of this, you already pretty much got that team. So now that said, Smith's lawyers basically filed a sentencing memorandum on September 16th, followed by a reply letter to the prosecution setting request on September 25th. They urged the judge to impose no more than 120 months, the statutory minimum, contending the federal guidelines were inflated. Defense attorneys Michael Baldazar and Thomas Andrikovitz highlighted Smith's lack of prior convictions, his sobriety, and his role as an advocate for performance where? Because last time I checked, and this is the shit that y'all should have brought up too, wasn't he going around strangling some of his co-stars that he would do CP with? I mean, not even CP, but just regular corn. When he was doing that, he was strangling them till they passed out and was still having sex with them while they were unconscious. Like, y'all forgot about that? Or was that something we neglected to bring up in the court case? Because this is fact. We've seen these videos on his For My Fans. I haven't, because I never subscribed to that ugly ass motherfucker. But yeah, you was body, but everything else was average, sir. So um I've seen the clips and stuff on on Twitter. So I didn't have to subscribe to your stuff to see the type of stuff that you was putting out there. Plus, there were times when you were making videos with people when they asked you to take down the content and you was like, well, you agreed to film, I'm leaving it up. So Austin was never a good person. I don't know where y'all was getting this kind of information where you thought that you were going to play him up like some upstanding citizen. He's a horrible, deplorable human being. He deserves to be where the hell he is, and may he rot in prison and not even make it out the 19, because you already know how they do molesters in the prison. So yeah, so then we're going to speak out on the survivors now, because this is what was in the article as well. So they said days before sentencing, prosecutors filed victim impact statements from people depicted in the CP found on Smith's devices. Their words offered a stark reminder that these were not abstract images, but the documentation of real and ongoing trauma. One survivor, identified as Liam, described years of abuse that began when he was 10, just days after his father's sudden death. A family friend groomed him under the guise of support, took him from school, and repeatedly assaulted him, capturing photos and videos, saying, quote, "This was the start of my nightmare, which I fully didn't understand at the time or how it would affect my life forever." Liam wrote he recounted being molested hundreds of times over each year, filmed in the process, and left to grapple with lasting psychological scars. Another statement filed by the mother of the victim echoed the same theme, that each time the image is viewed, survivors are re traumatized, their childhood violations prolonged. Smith's legal team expressed dissatisfaction with the way the federal government characterized the case. Well, how else would you want to categorize it when we got all the details? Mr. Smith has accepted responsibility. He will serve his time and he will emerge a different person. No, he won't, because child molesters cannot be rehabilitated unless you cut their dick and balls off and you give them a lobotomy. That's the only way you're going to rehabilitate them. It's a sickness in their brain. And Drigovich told Out on Tuesday. The government's press release paints an incomplete picture of the facts in the proceedings. It fails to mention that Mrs. Smith never put his hands on a minor. It also omits that Mr. Smith accepted full responsibility for his conduct, a level of accountability the court itself described as authentic. He added that the press release leaves one out critical mitigating circumstances recognized by the court at sentencing, including Mr. Smith's immediate and ongoing efforts to rebuild his life from within the Metropolitan Detention Center. Why does this sound so familiar? Based off of like who we were talking about in the previous thing. Oh, he's rehabilitating himself behind bars. Well, look, he got 18 more years where he can continue to rehabilitate himself, just like Diddy got them 4.5. These important facts present a far more complete and accurate account of who Mr. Smith is in the future he is determined to build. And so they get into his downfall, which basically said they would rattle the industry where he was once a marquee name, and an industry that also looked the other way until they couldn't no more. We know how the industry works. Y'all will sit and make excuses, you give a pass, you look the other way until it gets so egregious and so heinous, and the it piles up to the point where you can no longer ignore it. It's like, oh, we got to distance ourselves. And look, as it was said in the last show that we did, Austin will not be the first nor the last person that we got to deal with where y'all get off on this older daddy, fresh, Similac on the breath, bottom situation where y'all want to go for the Austin Wolf types. But child, somebody told me one time that Austin Wolf bottom that he painted the person he bottomed for, and this is true tea. I ain't gonna tell you who told me, but somebody who, I be knowing things and stuff. I tell y'all, um, I mean, I know a lot, but one thing I know about is a lot of you porn stars and your secrets, because I know a lot of people. But anyway, so, okay, so then y'all already know about them finding the videos from the SD card in his Manhattan apartment and all that other stuff. So, fellow performers alternated between shock, anger, please. It was all performative because I did. Oh, that Austin Wolf was capable of such things. You didn't know he was a. You fucking knew. Get off my line with that. A lot of y'all did know, but the fact of the matter was, y'all benefited wholeheartedly and financially from hooking up with Austin because of his star power in the industry, particularly at the gay VNs and all of that other stuff, and in the mainstream conglomerates. Y'all looked the other way because you knew how beneficial it would be to collaborate with him. So nobody's buying it. But and I don't know how well these other adult film stars are doing because I don't follow them like that unless y'all out here doing mess and then I have to talk about it. But anyway, so yeah, I'm trying to get off. I need to get off of this because I feel like I need a shower after spilling that tea. This is disgusting, human being. And I'm sorry with your attorneys or whatever. There's no cleaning this up. Sorry, there's no way y'all can try to rearrange it, clean it up, try to make it whatever you need to make it to be because y'all just no different than him in that point. But I get it. Your attorneys, your job is to try to get your client off and trying to find ways. Apparently, it didn't work because your man's going to jail for 19 years. And then when he gets out, he's got to do the supervised visits for the next decade beyond that. So he ain't getting out to what? He's like in his 70s? Because he's in his 40s. No, 60, 65, 66, around that time, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, let me know what you think of this mess in the comments down below. Ooh, child together. We got a lot of comments. But will this music leave an impact on culture? What's more important, having your hardcore fan base praise your album? Okay. I think it's more or less the former. She cares more about the hardcore fan base um kissing her ass and then her trying to squeeze as much out of the lemon and that the lemon be your dollars as possible. So but you want to make sure that your body of work lasts generations. PDF files cannot no, they cannot. Because let's be honest, can anyone that's not a Swiftie say the title of her last no probably not. And then be like quickly, without looking it up, the minute her Swifties stop being sheep and buying 95 variants like they have been, trust me, she'll start thinking over that part. Seems like she only cares about money. Yeah. Well, when you have money, you want more money. That's why I laugh when they were talking about, oh, yes, Taylor Swift was initially going to be the one they wanted to do the Super Bowl before they stopped, before they settled on Bad Bunny. But because she wanted to try to control, she wanted to own the video footage of the Super Bowl. I'm like, girl, nobody owns that. That's Super Bowl halftime property. They're giving you everything for free. You don't even have to pay none of that out of your pocket. So why are you trying to own footage? You could just watch it like the rest of us on YouTube. Is that is lazy thinking. You don't get to stall artistically because your sheep of fans are willing to buy shit in a bag. Okay. Every time I go to the book aisle in Walmart or Target, I see coloring books and not coloring books. You think rock child, don't even get me started on that man child. Child, what is it with grown men wanting that's what I said. I don't know what this obsession is. Maybe Lanier could explain it because he understands the adult cinematography world. But I'm like, I don't get it. They didn't say who the names were. So they said CC1, CC2, but CC2 should be in damn jail because you was negotiating all of this. CC1 was just some horny ass kid that was trying to get off. CC2 was basically you was over here pushing sex with a child that you supposed to be babysitting. Okay. Of course he does race. So I don't know why I was surprised. I mean, I don't know. What's the word? It's really surprised. I was expecting it. But I'm just glad it was confirmed on paper. Oh shit. I saw that pose and I'm dropping everything in there. I almost dropped my water. Anybody with a wolf, y'all need to look out for him. Last name. Okay. The industry knew. You can't convince me otherwise. I even fought on Twitter with one of wait, hold on. I think I know who you're talking about. It's a little short thing, muscle queen with that got a mohawk. Jason. Damn, why can't I remember his name? Hold on. Now I gotta Google her. Because I think I know who you're talking about. Not Jason Lee. Is it Jason Luna? She was another one out here that was making 1,000 damn excuses. And you know that asshole been ran through to all his dear friends. He got what he deserves. Cry harder. Okay. We're gonna put that on a t-shirt. You just gave me so many details I was unaware of, but I am by no means surprised about wait, hold on. I gotta adjust the mic because I was like, I think I knocked the mic over. Um, well, out of focus. You gave me so many details I was unaware of, but I am by no means surprised about it. As for those who turn a blind eye, well, you know what they say about karma. Okay. Who said that? JoJo C. What? No, I'm joking. He's 44. He'll be 74 years old by the time he's free. I don't even think quiet as it's kept. He was able to get it up when he was out of prison. Yeah, he'll be in his 60s, but I think you're adding the 10 on top of that. That would be the 70s, when I guess everything is pretty much situated. Yeah, that's why it's funny how y'all all knew. Because I was like, yeah, Jason, he was one of the main ones that was up on there making 1,000 excuses. I also know somebody, I ain't gonna put you on blast, because he's a good friend of mine. But he removed the video, who did a video with him. I think they were neighbors actually in the same building when they lived in Hell's Kitchen, Chelsea, one of them fucking places. And was contemplating. I said, child, now there should be no contemplating on whether or not you should take that video down. Take it down. He took it down after 10 years of a probation. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like you was adding on top of that. So it was all correct. Diddy's team and Diddy knew he was not going home. I don't know why they was, and so I don't know why. With you saying that, I don't understand why they gassed him up. Like y'all knew you wasn't getting out of prison. And I said that again. I was like, sir, you're doing time. Diddy's team and Diddy knew he was not going home, given what the judge said and what the prosecution said. That was light sentence, and they knew this. He could do another 18 months, then done. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about the possibility of he could get out early for good behavior. But I definitely want to hear what Cassie and them got to say after all this. I'm sure she probably has something by now, but I'm live, so someone named Pierre is still grifting their. Wait, I need to find out who that name is so we can put them on blast. Well, I'm sure there's some people out here that still got their Austin Wolf stuff up and thinking nobody pays attention. But like Lanier said previously when we did the last video, that there was somebody who did something. There was a guy who I guess he's much taller and looks older that hooked up with like some much smaller Asian child, and the amount of likes and retweets and all the other stuff that they got on their video. So it's a huge situation in our community. I don't want to get in that place of, but you see why they always looking at gays and pedophiles. And I don't want to get into that because I feel like that's weak commentary. But there's some truth to that in thinking that way. Pierre Fitch? No, don't say Pierre Fitch. That is a friend of mine. I was like, don't say Pierre Fitch, child. Well, did you hear about Cassie? Oh yeah, I remember that we did talk about that on the show. We talked about. Look, I've been keeping up with this Diddy trial. So yeah, I remember hearing those stories. Yeah, I'm sure it was consensual. It's Hamster. It's uploaded by. Wait, Hamster's the website. Is that like my Vidster? I don't be going on there. I was like, no, don't sit and tell me it's Pierre Fitch. I'm like, girl, what are you doing? I called him out. He said he was convicted. Okay, he was convicted, but that'll still don't mean like, okay, so why you still got his videos up there? He gonna say, well, I was of age when we was fucking. Whatever, sis. It's still no excuse. All right, yeah. We just been talking about a lot of drama today, so let's get into some more. Let's talk about Nicki and Cardi. Now, I was going back and forth debating whether or not I even want to talk about this because I'm tired of these two. I'm just like 72 hours. I was off for 2 damn days, and all of this stuff was coming out because I was working. A lot of shows and things. Um, so then I come back and I'm like, these two are going at it still. They're talking about each other's kids, which I heard some people say, well, Cardi started first by bringing up Papa Bear. First of all, if you are that damn dumb and slow, if you are that short but slow, if you are what's eating Gilbert Grape Leonardo DiCaprio slow, then I gotta sit and break it down for you that what she said was, why are you online coming at me when it's Papa Bear birthday? You should be spending time with your son. You need to take him to Chuck E. Cheese. That's all she said, which is a fact. It's like, why are you on social media at a time you're supposed to be spending with your kid going at it with me about some damn record sales and talking about how you the queen and all this other mess. These are all titles, numbers, shit that honestly do not matter. What really matters in this industry is your impact and how you move the needle in a lot of situations. So many people get caught up in numbers. I've been number one for like 8 weeks or 15 or 16. I'm like, who gives a shit? All that stuff is fleeting at the end of the day. But I guess when you're not in a place of maturity, this is not when you're going to come in that situation. So yeah, so them two been going at it. And I even got the back and forth. So let's get into the tea. as I make this picture smaller so we can see Cardi's fix a flat booty. And then speaking of which, Nicki out here telling people to kiss her ass or eat her ass. What she does to TMZ? I lost track. She was going at TMZ. She went at the Charlemagne the God. His read was his donkey of the day was funny though. She went at the shop anybody that would remotely criticize. I'm like, is she becoming Donald Trump with tits? Like this is literally like unhinged. Anybody that says anything about her, she goes on these little tirades. Her fandom sit up there and just eat it up because it's cute. No, it's a crash out, and it's sad that you spending literally 4 days straight just crashing out on Twitter. She's done this many a times, which is why all them drug allegations and stuff comes up allegedly from a lot of people who make the stuff. Cardi been saying she a cokehead or a drug addict and got bipolar disorder. It was a whole bunch of stuff that these two were saying. But when it got to the kids, I was like, it's getting dark, it's getting nasty, it's getting disgusting. Y'all both had babies come out of y'all. Like this is not a place that y'all should be going. But then again, Cardi did say that your coochie is all messed up and your eggs is powdered because you was out here doing all that damn drugs allegedly and prescription medication, which is why she said, I ain't gonna do it because she was saying that Papa Bear when she said that he's at home banging spoons on the table, I lost it. I'm like, okay. That's how I read. When people, I will literally just go in and let her. I don't give a damn. I was like, your child over there at home banging spoons on the table like it's a damn xylophone, and just I don't care. You come at me. I told you I am moonwalking on the five rings of hell. If you decide to go that low, so here's where it started. So Nicki went and posted this backhanded thing because she had the nerve to call Culture a monkey. First of all, that little girl is not ugly, so you tried it. One thing about Cardi, she don't have no ugly kids. I don't care how much surgery she had. The kids is cute. She said, Dear Culture, truth is I did all this for a bigger purpose, and one day you'll understand. You're a cute child, and lots of kids have cute little funny looking gums before they grown into all of their features. One day you'll see this, so I have to say I apologize. As a child of God, you ain't no damn child of God, because children of God don't talk like that. But then again, a lot of you people that run around here talk about y'all God this and God that, y'all some of the most meanest, nastiest, condescending, disgusting people walking the damn earth. But y'all think because y'all wear little big ass hats and that you what that excuses some of the shit y'all say. No, that's why I can't rock with a lot of you religious folks. Went and said, You're an innocent child and doesn't deserve any of this. One day, your mother, aunt, and many more, to my Hennessy, by the way, will be brought to their knees for what they've said and tried to do to my young prophet, who she thought she gave birth to. Neo from the Matrix. Beautiful boy. Take care, my darling. This isn't who I am. Yes, it is. It's every bit of who you are. Because a lot of times you go on social media and you talk shit about everybody. You say so many negative things about people. And my thing is, I'm going to be fair. Like we got to talk. Like if you want to sit up here and say stuff, you need to be held accountable for the things you say. And if y'all not at the party of accountability, you can go on somebody else's page and spew bullshit because I don't have time for it. Because we are a channel of we're gonna call out all the things. Then Cardi comes with her rebuttal, where she wrote a letter to the kid because she feel like the smartest one out of all of them is Papa Bear. We don't even know that boy's name. She said, "Dear Papa Perk," as in Percocet. I'm sorry that your mommy haven't cut you a birthday cake for the past 3 days because she can't take my success or happiness. One day you gonna grow up, and I hope you understand when a girl says no, it means no, and you can overcome the pedophilia blood you inherited from your grandfather, father, and uncle. Please don't hate me when you grow up because your mommy rather give me more attention than she gives you. Hopefully, when somebody that really cares about her puts her in rehab and gives her the help she needs, she come out and read you a book. And then I think, let me see, because I then also went and posted, don't give my child no backhanded apology. Keep my child name out your mouth because I'm gonna always take you where you don't want to go about mine. And then showed her as a lioness roaring while her cub is under her, like rubbing her the top of her head up against her mother's cheek. So it was like, yeah, she's like, oh, I'm gonna be a mama bear, even though technically it's a lioness. I'm gonna be a lioness about mine. So you come at me, oh no, I'm going harder. And here's the thing, I don't know why Nicki don't just quit, because one of the things, she may be good with her pen game, but her reading game is a chop. It's always been a chop. You're not that good at throwing shade. It's funny how she got all these faggots that sit and listen to her music, but none of them know how to know how to read. None of y'all have the art of reading under your belt. Because if you did, you'd be able to. She would, she would that would have rubbed off on her. You would think, and then she'd be able to come with some good rebuttals. You getting ate up. You really are. You getting ate up. And maybe you need to hang around a lot more butch queens and less pedophiles, because then they'd be able to give you a couple of zingers that you could have came at. But Cardi too slick with her mouth. Because I know how them Bronx girls are. The Bronx girls is not to be fucked with. They fight, trust and believe. They throw hands and mouth. So she ain't like you, where y'all was at the Met Gala and she was gonna whoop your ass and you was hiding behind security looking shook, spooked, and nervous. I seen the pictures. I posted on my social media the other day as a reminder. Because a lot of y'all have selective amnesia. So these two have been going at it. I hope they could put this feud to rest. But here's the thing. Nicki met her match when it came to Cardi with the mouth and all that other stuff. It's like, I'm gonna keep going at it with you. But my thing is, Cardi, you pregnant. You don't have time to be sitting here entertaining these shenanigans. Just move on. Focus on this album. Push out this baby. Get ready for this upcoming tour. You already sold out 2 nights at the Garden. And focus on the tour and all the other stuff. Now, I hope this tour is going to be good, because if it's a mess, I'm definitely going to read you for it. Because I'm sure I'll be working it. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? The latest on Cardi and Nicki, and the fact these two still going at it. I think they've stopped so far. But yeah, it's just like, y'all are just going to keep going. There's no point of y'all continuing this mess, because y'all it's going to keep going and going and going and going and going and going and going. It's going to be no end in sight. Each one got to get the last damn word. And I just feel like we just going around in circles at this point. But I will say this, I have been entertained by the shady tweets, because I've been posting ad nauseam on social media. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, said off topic, but the following artists were submitted for being A at the 2026 Grammys. Addison, are you talking about what's that child name? The Swiftologist's favorite, Addison Ray, who had the unlitigated gall to throw shade at Zara Larson's new record, but sitting up in here eating the shit out of Addison Ray's ass. I'm like, if this boy don't go sit down and play in traffic. Jade, Pink Pantherist, I be forgetting that Joe Carey does music. I be forgetting he does music. Joe Carey, Role Model, Cat's Eye. Cat's Eye is actually coming to my job this month. I just looked at the calendar. Central C, Somber, and Mariah the Scientist. First of all, these are a lot of good artists. But yeah, we'll see how it all works out. Yeah, I forgot Miss Tweet and Delete. That's what I called her earlier. Um, Yeah, she continues to post things and delete. So I don't even know where it come from. And my thing is, look, Lil Kim said that in the beginning. It's like all she do is tweet stuff and then she deletes it. And she said real bitches stand on what they gotta say. And well, she ain't a real bitch. Cause I always say, like, if you really mean what you say and stuff, you gonna sit up there and say stuff out of shade and anger, stand on it. Leave it up there. You think Cardi took down any of the tweets she posted? They still up there. And what I don't understand is the fact that y'all post things thinking like we don't have something called a screenshot. Like we can't screenshot what y'all posted. So what's the point of deleting it? Somebody's gonna see it and capture it before it goes away. You know how fast these new generation and kid people are. Child, I was dying at the back and forth. You ain't the only one. I was low key laughing too. When she said the thing about banging the spoons, I literally tried so hard not to laugh, but I couldn't hold it in. I was like, okay, that was a funny one. They showed the video of the child banging this. Yes, that is true. I've seen ugly people make look, which is why you think I said Cardi B has all her kids is cute, even with all the surgeries. I did say that. I said even with all the surgeries that Cardi has had, she still made some cute kids. the girls have the ability to run the mouth, but they haven't achieved enough, like Cardi, to go back and forth with Nicki. They have to be concerned with their careers in a way that Cardi doesn't. N- Not blame. Well, don't say that to what did I say? The Swiftologist. Don't tell him that Addison Rae is bland. Joe Carey's music is very alternative, acoustic, and 70s rock inspired. I really enjoy his stuff, and he released a 13 track deluxe edition last month. He kind of reminds me of Dylan Minnette, because as a lot of these actors are getting into music, which said the barbs irritate me. How does Cardi saying her child knowing his ABCs concern pop? Hmm. All right, y'all. So now, hold on, because I was like, I sent another comment. There's a few songs on it, but the Swiftologist, he be doing too damn much. I was gonna go in and write a scathing comment, but I was like, you know what? With the amount of followers and stuff, I said I can't be out here beefing with other content creators. So I was like, I'm gonna just be quiet. I'm gonna put what I'm gonna say in the group chat, and I'm not even going. Mm-mm. I have to learn to be. I have to be the more mature one in these situations. I can't be out here just beefing with content creators. I can't be out here fighting with these people because they have an opinion about something. Because I'll be like, remember, if I have an opinion that somebody don't like, they don't come at me too. Just like there was a lot of homophobes in the comments that I wrote. I mean, when I did the video on, I mean, the story on Ghostface Killer's son, people, why do we need gay rappers and stuff? Because we do. That don't mean they got to be for you. But we do need rappers who represent a specific community. If it ain't for you, it ain't for you. Why people always think because they don't like something that everybody ain't gotta like something, or because you don't want it to exist that it shouldn't exist for other people. You got what you got. If you want to listen to Wu Tang and all the other 89 members in that group, then you go ahead and like that. But there should be representation for people out there who feel underrepresented. And in hip hop, y'all be wanting the gays to dress y'all, make y'all look good and stuff, but you don't want to have them show off their skills. And if you have skills, and if you can actually ride on a beat with some amazing dope ass lyrics, then why can't they do it? Because he does too much. Remember, it was Jason Mark, and this was before the PDF file arrest. Let's not try to slander a fantastic man who is entertained. That's what he said. Who has entertained us. First of all, don't even get me started on Miss Luna, because she give me pick me tease, because you're not even a white girl. What is his nationality? Isn't he Asian? So a lot of these little muscle queens that hang out in Chelsea and stuff. We know how some of you colored adjacent homosexuals are. Well, y'all just so happy you get to be in the room with those white people that you overlook a lot of what they do because you want a seat at the table. And he definitely gives me pick me tease. Joe was in a band before Stranger Things, but it wasn't popular outside of the Chicago scene, so everyone assumes. What it is that it's always whatever is the thing that you blow up as first, they want to see you as. So they assume, like, because you were doing music, but the acting thing you were doing both actually, but the acting took off, and now they jump in and So now it's like, oh yeah, now that y'all know who I am, and now I think with Stranger Things finally coming to an end, he's like, I can focus on the music more, and if I need a little extra coin, then I can go and do a movie or another show. All right, y'all. So let's talk about Mariah Carey, who apparently still does not know Jennifer Lopez. So the elusive Chanteuse did not evade a question about whether or not she currently knows Jennifer Lopez, whose presence has allegedly eluded her over the years. The superstar, who's 56, was a guest on Andy Cohen's Watch What Happens Live on Wednesday when she was asked about her famous shady comment. So, as y'all know, Carrie coined the seemingly dismissive phrase in 2003. Damn, that phrase came out that long ago. When she was asked her thoughts about Lopez smiling, she simply said, I don't know her. Now, on Wednesday, she reiterated the sentiment after Cohen asked, can you believe how much I don't know her has become part of the lexicon? So I do have that clip. I did change the speed on it because I was like, I don't want to have to be like, uncopyright. And I got it off Twitter. So I don't want to sit up here and try to be cute. But anyway, we'll come back and we'll talk. Please hold.
Can you believe how much I don't know her has become part of the lexicon?
I mean, the thing is, I was being honest when I said it.
Yes.
So I don't know how it became so big.
I know. It's
Honesty isn't really something that becomes big most of the time.
Right, right. To clarify, you still do not know her, right?
How can I suddenly know? Like, you know,
Yeah, right. The amount of time we have spent in these chairs discussing whether you know her is amazing. Can you?
And look, we already know Andy Cohen is messy. So he's going to play up this whole thing of, well, do you know her? You say you don't know her. I don't know her. All that other mess. Like, that's basically what he does. You always kind of played it up as a situation. And I guess kudos to Mariah for continuing to play it up in that situation. But that ain't where it all ended. So, yeah, so then Cohen asked, to clarify, you still don't know her, right? How could I suddenly know, like, flashing a knowing smile as Cohen laughed? The amount of time we have spent in these chairs discussing whether you know her is amazing, a host quipped. Carrie's shady reply left her fans cracking up on social media. One person saying, how can she suddenly know her OMFG? One fan wrote. How can I suddenly know I'm dying? Another added. This is the gift that keeps on giving, laughing emoji. Then another person said, maybe the better answer is, I know of her, but Mariah knows she's just being shady boots and it's freaking hilarious. This was someone else wrote, the shade. Oh, the shade. And then Mariah said, still don't. Mariah previously shared a similar sentiment while appearing on Watch What Happens Live with Andy in 2016. When he pressed her for asking, do you know each other? She said no before adding, you know what? I'm very forgetful, apparently. I'm forgetful because I don't remember the fact that it was like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and then we moved on. If I have never had a conversation about you and someone asked me, I would be like, I don't know them, but they seem cool, or I don't know them. Why do I feel like I'm channeling Mariah as I'm saying that? Cohen then asked, does she seem cool? To which Carey replied, I don't know her. Like, what am I supposed to say? I was like, you know what? One thing about Mariah is, this is why I keep telling you, the girls can read. Speaking of Nicki Minaj, it was like Mariah ate her up, Remy ate her up, and most recently Cardi ate her up. So it's like, these girls can read. And Mariah is from Long Island. So she's another New York City chick that don't play around with her mess. But and I think the whole thing about her being very forgetful, that was a rebuttal to when Jennifer went on Wendy Williams' show. And remember, she said she could be forgetful, and then did a little smirk or whatever the case was. In regards to her saying that they don't know each other. But she said they probably just pass each other in the hallway, and that's just the gist of their situation. But um, but y'all remember, I'm sure y'all probably are aware of why Mariah has a disdain. And the people are just like, well, she needs to get over it. The fuck I don't. Because there's a reason why I have this ongoing, I don't know her, shady situation. Because the way she was used as a Trojan horse to sabotage her music career. And that was Tommy Mottola using her in a way to destroy her career. And Mariah talks about this in her memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey, where he basically sabotaged her 2001, because it wasn't 2021, 2001 album. Remember, she was working on Glitter, and she was working on a song called Loverboy, which was after their divorce. Mottola gave a sample of the song Firecracker by Yellow Magic Orchestra, where she intended to use it for Loverboy, to Lopez on her single I'm Real. So she was going to actually use that, and then she had to go and use another sample because Tommy was being vindictive. Can you imagine how he's going to act when him and Thalia actually divorce? Mariah alleged Mottola redirected a planned collaboration with Ja Rule from her to Jennifer, fueling tensions. Because Mariah, as y'all know, was the one that kind of started off this whole pop singer working with rappers type of situation. Back in then, when she was working with ODB and so many others, she was the one that was kind of going in that direction because she didn't want to come out and sing the Whitney Houston, Celine Dion, Adele-esque torch song. She did that at the beginning of her career when she did Emotions and Butterfly and all that other stuff. But then she wanted to kind of teeter in to the music she grew up on, which was like that Tina Marie, um, like a little freestylish. Like she was trying to take more of a hip hop approach with her music. And yes, it worked. And another thing I've always told y'all that I loved about Mariah was when she would re-record her songs for dance remixes produced by David Morales. I love when she would go in and do an original vocal and lay it down over his house beats. That was always iconic to me because I was like, no artist was really that I could think of that were mainstream was doing that. And Mariah was all about like really putting in the effort and really coming up with really interesting creative ways of making music. And so, yes, I'm sure Jennifer Lopez was all excited and everything. Like, I'm gonna have the career. I'm gonna be an artist because I want to capitalize on the whole Selena thing. And I know she was all like bug-eyed and bushy-tailed and stuff about it. But the fact of the matter was, you went along with Tommy being messy, so that way, I mean, towards his wife and using you as a way, so that way you can have the career you have. And look where your career is at today. Don't nobody care about the music, but Mariah's doing what she's doing, even though she's a horrible live performer. But still, the songs be hitting. So I think that's all there is on that. Oh, and then she basically referred to Jennifer in her memoir as another female entertainer on their label, whom I don't know. And that's another thing too, was like, yeah, they were both a part of Sony. So when you label mates, you know that Tommy knows what's going on behind the scenes. Because when you run in the label and you know what people are doing, because people talk. You can look on the roster and see who's booked studio time, who's working with who, and all the other stuff, or who she's planning on working with. And it's like, oh no, I'm gonna get ahead of that. I'm gonna go hit up Ja Rule and Irv Gotti and offer them twice the amount that they would get to work with Jennifer instead of working with Mariah. And you don't think they're gonna go where the money resides? That's no shade. It's just business. But when you on the up and up and you at the top of the world, you're gonna take as much as you can because it don't last forever. And then when we saw what happened with Murder Inc. over the years, yeah, they didn't last long. They had a good run. Don't even get me started on Chris Gotti jumping on the Breakfast Club trying to talk about that Ashanti owe him this and this and should have got him made a phone call. I'm like, boy, if you don't go sit your tired ass down, them Gottis get on my goddamn nerve. The Lorenzos, because that's their actual last name. Then they started getting into some stuff about Jeff Bezos and his wedding, but we don't care about them. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Mariah still standing on business saying, I don't know her? Do we know Jennifer at this point? I mean, I will know her next week when I go see Kiss of the Spider Woman. But for now, I'm with Mariah. I don't know her, but I'm actually going to go see Tron first. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Jennifer didn't do anything to her, but Mariah doesn't have to like someone who was used as a tool to deter her career, especially since I think the cameo sample worked better for Loverboy. And yeah, I do agree with that. I was like, you know what? The way you look at it, it was a blessing in disguise. The cameo sample sounds much better. Like let Jennifer have what she had with the I'm Real track. It was cute. And it works for Jennifer. But um the cameo sample, I do agree. It was a much better production on that. The original Fireworks sample song was actually horrible. Tommy did exactly. That's what I was saying. It was like he did her a favor. Give it to Jennifer. I mean, it works for the I'm Real song. Okay, never get 4 vaccines in one day. Damn, you got 4 vaccines. The other day, I just got me a flu shot. I thought I was going to get sick after I shot my arm up. But no, I'm feeling fine. Feeling good and feeling fine. Looking good and feeling fine. Mariah needs to get to know some damn stage. Okay, she damn sure do because that the way she performs, I'm like, ma'am, that's a chop. I need you to actually get up out here and start learning how to do more than a lazy ass 2-step. All right, y'all. So, um, we have about 4 more topics left, so we're getting down to the wire. So before we get to those topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button, smash the notification bell, hit the subscribe if you haven't already, so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of the show. That'd be Kris Avalon Unfiltered. Thank you all for those of you who are so far in the comments, keying with me and tuning in and all that other mess, because this is a messy ass show. We live for the mess. So anyway, without further ado, and y'all already know I'm gonna put in the timestamp, so I don't have to say it again. So without further ado, as I said before, let's get into Tyrese, who just don't know how to stay out of trouble. I think, but first of all, what is going on with the Fast and the Furious, the last one? Are they actually going to make one? Because what's going on with that? Even Jason Momoa say he don't know what the hell's happening. Tyrese need a job, so somebody make one of the movies to keep him out of trouble. But anyway, so Tyrese apparently his dogs killed his neighbor's dog, and the neighbor filed a suit, wants him locked up. Apparently, he was arrested finally in Atlanta. And as reported by TMZ, the artist born Tyrese, not Tyrese Darnell, y'all get the whole government, Tyrese Darnell Gibson was booked on Friday morning and was released after posting a $20,000 bond. One of Tyrese's dogs allegedly killed a 5-year-old Cavalier King Charles Spaniel who belonged to one of the neighbors in Atlanta. The neighbor claimed they found their dog dead on September 18th, covered in, not in dog saliva, and that Tyrese was known to let his dogs roam free without a leash. Earlier this week, Fulton County Police Animal Services Captain Nicole Dwyer announced that the Fast and the Furious star was wanted on an animal cruelty charge in connection with the incident. The dog, Henry, sustained puncture wounds and severed internal bleeding after being attacked. In the week leading up to Henry's death, Tyrese's 4 Cane Corso dogs were seen running loose on at least 5 occasions. Another neighbor called 911 and reported the dogs prevented her from getting to her car, and she later needed to be escorted by animal control officers, saying, quote, "It is the negligence on his part as the homeowner and animal owner just letting them roam free. And now they have killed the innocent animal." Tyrese agreed to surrender his dogs on September 22nd, but he asked for 3 or 4 more days when they first talked to him. He was told he would return with they would return with a search warrant if he did not comply. He refused to comply with the authorities, and his dogs were nowhere to be found when the search warrant was executed. Oh, he think he's slick. He's trying to disappear them animals. I was like, mm-mm. Get him, lock his ass up. So then it said, Tyrese, well, that's what you should be named. Tyrese later gave an exclusive statement to the Breakfast Club's Lauren LaRosa. And I like Lauren. I'm just saying, like, really, we giving exclusive statements, clarifying that he was not on the run after the fatal dog attack. He faced accusations that he was evading arrest when he said on Instagram that he would be stepping back from social media to focus on his mental health, and noted that he was with his family in LA. You know what? If it another day, another stunt from Tyrese, saying, quote, "Mr. Tyrese Gibson wishes to extend his deepest condolences to the family who lost their beloved dog in this tragic incident." This is what he told La Rosa. He said his heart is truly broken. No, it's not. And he's been praying for the family constantly, hoping they may one day find it in their hearts to forgive him. Mr. Gibson was out of town when the incident occurred, but he accepts full responsibility for his dogs. Now, my thing is this: if you are out of town on whatever, for whatever reason, be it you're doing music or you're acting in a movie or whatever the case is, isn't it someone who should be, that you have employed, that makes sure that your dogs are not running loose, that your dogs are fed, taken, to the bathroom, or whatever the case is, walked. I don't know how you raise your dogs, but isn't there someone that you would have, like an assistant or something, that would have some kind of responsibility to take care of them dogs, and you not just be, letting them roam free, especially if you got cane corsos. Like, them dogs are crazy. And I don't even know, like, how you be training them and stuff. So a lot of times people get these type of dogs, or pit bulls, whatever the case is, and y'all just be getting them just so they could be like these mean little mother fathers. And it's the perception of what, or y'all feed more into the stereotype of the dog rather than just taking good care of the dog and treating it like it'd be a nice little dog that you're taking care of. Y'all just be wanting little tyrants running around. So Tyrese's attorney said that he made the incredibly difficult decision to rehome his 2 adult dogs and their 3 puppies in safe and loving homes after he learned what happened. Now, earlier this week, the 46-year-old released a statement regarding the matter, saying it left him feeling shocked, devastated, and heartbroken for the family affected. And so he showed a picture of him with the dogs, whatever the case was. And then, yeah, and so the client basically sent out a whole statement. But I'll read you the part at the end. He said, "This is not about me, it's about a family that's dealing with a very unexpected tragedy. I just wanted to post this and give some clarity. May the Lord Jesus Christ continue to cover their family and my family. So no one wanted or expected to wake up to any of this." But let me see if what the people are saying in the comments. "A tragic situation for Sweet Henry and for your dogs that were not contained or trained. That falls on the owner, which is you. Take accountability. Your poor neighbors, how awful to live in fear." Another person said, "What an awful situation you caused by being a neglectful owner. Shame on you." Um, Another person said, you did have an idea. A neighbor couldn't get to her I think it meant car, because she said get to her cat. Before 4 of your cane corsos were in her yard and wouldn't let her out of her door. Take responsibility. You have received previous tickets for dogs roaming through the neighborhood in packs. Another person said the order was to get the dogs confiscated, not rehomed. Hopefully, the family who lost their beloved dog fights this. Clean his ass out. I say sue him. Another person said, "You can't let the dogs run free like that. Complete negligence. As a responsible dog owner, this is horrible behavior on your part." And then now we got somebody who actually has the same type of breed. First of all, let me pull up the thing so y'all can see what these dogs look like. Because I can sit up here and say Cane Corso, you'd be like, "What? I don't know what that is." So, and the way that Tyrese house looked, it looked like it's a bunch of houses kind of like together, right? So, they don't look like Tyrese owned that big old mansion by himself. But then again, in Atlanta, that's all they got out there is a bunch of big ass houses, and you ain't got to pay a whole lot for them. Now, one person said, "As an owner of 2 Blenheim Cavalier King Charles Spaniels, my heart hurts for poor sweet Henry and his dog, Dad. Henry, you did not deserve that end of life. I hope these particular dogs that did this are not euthanized." She said, "Euthanized immediately." So then we'll read one more. One more. So one person said, "You ran away from the problem instead of addressing it. I feel horrible for those neighbors. You deserve no sympathy for your lack of responsibility." So, child, they was eating him up in the comments regarding this whole situation, and I don't feel no way side about it either. So, um, yeah, you was letting your dogs roam free. Clearly, the people were saying that you were giving countless warnings and tickets, and you continue to do whatever you want. And that's always kind of been Tyrese's MO, where he feels he could just do whatever he want because he's Tyrese, which I didn't even know that name carries so much weight. Not even in Black Hollywood. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Um, you leaving your dogs to go free, and they had to get to this point in order for you to get a wake up call. And I still, even beyond that, don't feel like that your narcissistic behind got a wake up call. And I just hope that the neighbors who've had to live in fear over you being irresponsible dog owner basically takes you to the court for and sues you for the death of their dog. That didn't have to die if you was being a more responsible dog parent. So let me know what you guys. And as somebody who's a big lover of dogs, I have 2 dogs of my own. Like I would be pissed if something like that happened to me. I mean, I have a bulldog Shar-Pei mix, but she's the sweetest thing. She doesn't bite. She just slobbers. So, but still at the same time, she is well trained, and I don't just let her roam free based on her size. Because when people see how big she is, they get scared. But it's like I'm very responsible and very cognizant of when I have dogs that they have to be on their best behavior and not put them in danger of people who get scared if they look at a certain dog and look, I ain't trying to get no lawsuit. So you got to be mindful out in these streets. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. For already quick day. Wait, but what? He's had 4 already. Quick day. You must have some trade coming on. Is that Mariah needs to put more effort into her performances. Okay. No, first of all, it wasn't a lot going on it was a lot of news going on. And it was weird because I'm like, out of the past 2 days, I'm thinking it was gonna be so much gossip that I was gonna have to be doing. Then I'm looking, I'm like, it really is dry out here. Mine too. Whenever you take your animals outside, always put them on a leash. One of my dogs that I have, Prince, he looks like Crypto. I told y'all, I actually carry him. Like I don't even put him on a leash, except if he's going for excuse me, for his nightly walk, because he's bougie. He will not take a poop in the yard or whatever the case is. So you have to literally walk him. Xena too damn lazy. I think she got arthritis in her legs too, so she don't really walk much. She just lays around all day. But but it's like, okay, I'll take her out. She'll go to the bathroom, and then she's ready to come back in the house after laying in the sun a little bit. But Prince, you got to walk him, and he'll go. But you got to put him on a leash, and he tries to walk you. I'm like, I be fighting with him at that leash because he tries to pull me like he's in control. It's like, no, you're not the one in control here, sir. So, you have to put him on it because he runs in the street. He runs all over the place, and I'm like, I'm not. And I've even had neighbors tell me he ran around the block, so I'll be having to chase him. So it's like I don't be trusting him when it comes down to it because that dog do not listen. He hard headed because like he wanted to come. He actually wanted to come in the office with me today to do the show, and I was like, because then he gonna start whining. He gonna start getting on my nerves, and then I'm gonna have to stop in the middle of the show and let him out. It's like, nope, you gonna stay outside the door. Because every time he just wants to whine all day. I said, Teresa, that's why I was like, I wasn't taking him seriously. Do people really go? I was like, wait, do people really go to jail for animal cruelty? Yeah, they do. Michael Vick, right? Didn't he do time? I have a Great Dane, but he's not that big. That he's intimidating. Yeah, but it's like, but at the same time, like I was saying, it's like, you know what? As you said, put them dogs on the leash. All right now speaking of somebody who need to be on a damn leash, let's talk about Ray J because he out of damn control. So Ray J was out here talking about that he filing RICO charges and all this other stuff. He says a whole bunch of BS on social media, which is why nobody takes him seriously. Well, apparently the Kardashians took him seriously because they said that we suing you for defamation. And you want to know something? Y'all know I don't like these Kardashians, but I'm with you when you need to be. He also said that they paid him $5 million in hush money or whatever the case was. Well, you ain't been hushing all that much if you revealing that they paid you $5 million. And I think that was during the era of him doing the tape with Kim. That pimp mama Kris managed to turn them lemons into lemonade. So yeah, this is what he said that he was working with the feds to build the RICO case. Well, first of all, if you was working with the feds to build the RICO, first of all, the feds is busy. Cash Patel and all them other morons is busy doing all the foolishness they doing. They ain't got time to be entertaining Ray J mess. And number two, if you was over here working on a situation, a RICO case, I think he know a dude named Rico. He don't even know what RICO mean. I'm thinking that why would you even reveal this? Like I would have thought that it would have came in the form of a subpoena. You could have had that passed off to like if you really was working on a case, you want to drop the bombshell. You don't go on social media to announce it. But that's just me. So the mother-daughter stars of such reality shows as Keeping Up with the Kardashians and the Kardashians filed a lawsuit on Wednesday, accusing the sexy canine singer of defamation. Reps tell Entertainment Weekly, saying their complaint is specifically connected to statements made by Ray J, whose real name is William Ray Norwood Jr., wherein he insinuated that the Kardashians and Jenners would soon be targeted by federal investigators. Norwood first said, if you told me that the Kardashians was being charged for racketeering, I might believe it during a TMZ special in May. He then doubled down on his claims during a Twitch live stream on September 24th. Now, in the live stream, Norwood claimed that the feds are coming to investigate Jenner and Kardashian. The federal RICO I'm about to drop on Kris and Kim is about to be crazy. I'm talking about, I'm on the news every day like, yeah. He said, anybody know Kim who's cool with Kim, they need to tell her now that rain is coming. The feds is coming. The feds is coming. There's nothing I can do about it. Well, you could just shut the fuck up, but you don't know how to do that because Ray J is an attention-seeking whore who doesn't know how to just shut up. It's just difficult for him. Now, um, he added, it's worse than Diddy, seemingly referring to Sean Combs' case. Well, it ain't that worse for Diddy because Diddy just got sentenced in 4 years and 2 months in prison. Whereas you tried to make it seem like that Diddy wasn't so bad or whatever. I was like, boy, if you don't just shut the hell up. But so the Alex Sparrow, an attorney representing Jenner and Kardashian, said in a statement, Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian have never brought a defamation claim before, nor have they been distracted by noise. But this false and serious allegation left no choice. Reps for Norwood didn't immediately respond to EW's request for comment. Now, according to the statement, a spokesperson for Jenner and Kardashian, the two claimed that the complaint that Norwood, who dated Kardashian from 2002 to 2006. Wait, sidebar. Now, I would have thought that that charge would have been when allegedly Kim ran up Sonya Norwood cards. Remember when that story came out that apparently, because remember, she was cleaning out people's closets for a living, and did she steal Sonya Norwood credit cards and was running them up allegedly? Anyway, let's get back into the tea. So, yeah, from when they dated from 2002 to 2006, has levied a sustained campaign of harassment and defamation against them, arguing that he is unable to accept the end of his fleeting relationship with Kardashian and has subsequently repeatedly sought to attach himself to their names in order to exploit their prominence for personal gain. Well, girl, you exploited him. Why he can't do it with that? He hasn't been able to do it smartly like you did, but he's been trying. Now, Kardashian and Jenner denied Norwood's blatantly false allegations about federal criminal racketeering investigation, saying, quote, no such federal investigation exists. No law enforcement agency has initiated any criminal proceedings or investigations related to racketeering charges against Ms. Kardashian or Ms. Jenner, and no credible evidence whatsoever supports these inflammatory allegations, end quote, they say. Per the statement from Jenner and Kardashian spokesperson, Norwood's claims about the alleged racketeering investigation were presented as factual assertions as opposed to speculation or opinion, and his statements lacked any attempt at verification or corroboration from legitimate law enforcement sources. As a result, the duo maintained that Norwood's statements constitute reckless disregard for the truth under the actual malice standard, claiming that he demonstrates a fundamental disregard for truth and a willful intent to harm. Well, I've been saying it about him. He definitely demonstrates a fundamental disregard for truth. My thing is that whenever Ray J comes along, Ray J just talks out of his ass. Like I've been saying that for the longest when it comes to him and some of the things that he says. So nobody really was out here taking him seriously. Like he's been saying so many things. And another thing, I really am looking forward to reading Brandy's memoir. Now, when she come out with this book, I really want to know if she's going to say anything about her brother and if there's anything in there regarding like what their relationship is, because I've noticed like when it comes to the Norwoods, they just be real quiet about Ray J and a lot of the shenanigans and stunts and shows and stuff that he be pulling, all the mess that he be saying. Like I definitely want to know like what's the tea regarding him. So I hope that they get to the bottom of this, that we find out what this is, because it's like we can't take Ray J seriously. Ray J always is talking out the side of his ass. I was trying to see if I could pull up this picture real quick. You see how Kris Jenner, that neck is every bit of 60-something years old, but that face, oh, snatched from the gods. And money well spent on both of them. You can't tell me Kim ain't had no damn surgery. But look, when you got money and all this other stuff, you got to maintain the beautiness of it all. She got a beauty line, so she got to keep it up. Keep up with the Kardashians and their regimens. So yeah, so I say all this say, what do you guys think of this story? Here go Ray J yet again, just blowing a bunch of stuff out his behind, and now look at you getting sued. I don't even know if I don't think they mentioned how much they're suing him for defamation, but I don't think he got it. But if he do, pay up. because you out here being a fool, using people's names and stuff for clout or whatever the case is, and now look at you. The shit done backfired. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Well, they did say that she got a recent facelift. Look, her and Madonna, money well spent. Although when I was watching that video that she did with Jay Shetty, I don't know if it was the grills or was the lip injections, but I'm like, ma'am, you got to stop with the grills because you was sounding like you was speaking slurred English at one point. Who go on Casanat stream when they ain't got nothing? And you seen how you try to get in the shower with him, right? I'm so sick of you so-called straight boys always trying to use the gay community as a way to try to get attention. And Kyle looked like he don't wipe his ass properly, nor brush his teeth, or his tongue, or floss. Not to bring up Kim's enemy Taylor again, but a viral tweet quoting a clip from Ain't No Other Man. Xena was 26 here, and despite Taylor being like 10 years older, that is not too. Speaking of which, they did bring up something that when Taylor Swift dropping her new album, how Kim went and announced that she has a Elizabeth Taylor docu-series or something or another coming out. And I think it was just crickets. I don't think anybody cared. And I care about Elizabeth Taylor, but I don't care about her producing something about Elizabeth Taylor. All right, y'all. So now let's see where we're going. Let's talk about NSYNC. So we've been going back and forth with them for a while. There was a story that was going around that NSYNC is in the throes of putting on a reunion tour, something or another, but because of Justin Timberlake's Lyme disease, or some people would say liar's disease diagnosis, that it may not happen. But now the story is reignited again. I think it was TMZ that started reporting on it. And they're saying that they are considering still doing the reunion tour, even if Justin Timberlake is not up for it. So the members of NSYNC, Lance Bass, who's 46, I was going to say fat one, Joey Fatone, who's 48, JC Chasez, who's 49, and Chris Kirkpatrick, who's 53, might hit the road without pop superstar, who's 44, amid strong demand for a reunion. This is what sources told TMZ on Wednesday. The four remaining members have reportedly been in negotiations to perform to commemorate the boy band's 30th anniversary. This is what sources told the outlet. The quartet is seriously considering the possibility of an arena tour without Timberlake, sources told the outlet. Insiders said the four remaining members are aware of the strong demand for a reunion show with or without Timberlake. The latest update marks the most recent effort the four members have made towards landing a lucrative series of concerts. Concert promoters AEG and Live Nation last summer have been talking to them about a set of 2026 shows, but Timberlake didn't engage. Sources told the outlet. The negotiations were conducted far before Timberlake's battle with Lyme disease went public. This is what sources told TMZ. Promoters are confident that the four remaining members could fill up arenas in major cities, even with even more upside if Timberlake were to get on board. In recent years, fans taken to social media with hopes of a reunion for the boy band, whose trademarks include "It's going to be May," because you don't say me, it's May. Tearing Up My Heart, Bye Bye Bye, and I Want You Back. The popular boy band got fans' hopes up 2 years ago when it released their first new music in 2 decades. Because didn't they do a song on the Trolls album? And then I think they have a song on Justin's new album. I don't know. I didn't listen to his new album, but I heard they have a song on there. Now, they said around the same time they thrilled fans, including Taylor Swift, with an unexpected reunion at the 2023 MTV VMAs. The pop ensemble served as presenter as Swift was awarded with Best Pop Award for her track Antihero. Now, Bass last year appeared on Watch What Happens Live, telling host Andy Cohen that Diddy had meddled in the band's business prior to their split. Bass said that when Diddy opened for NSYNC on their 2002 celebrity tour, he urged Timberlake to drop the four band members to pursue a career as a solo act. Well, you already know Diddy's an asshole. I mean, look, he ruined Day 26 Identity Game. So I will totally believe you need to go solo. He said, I never kind of liked him because I'll say this. I overheard him talking to Justin being like, you need to drop these effers. You need to go solo. The singer continued, I was like, I don't like you anymore, Diddy. I'm like, at my own show, what the hell? So I never liked him. And that's my thing. I was like, wait a minute, bitch. First of all, you are a guest. You are opening for us. So NSYNC is the biggest pop stars on the planet. They know Diddy as somebody who like just like doing his stupid little dance behind everybody in his little ugly ass shiny suits. And yeah, take that, take, all them stupid little isms that he does. And then he was trying to be a rapper and all this other stuff at one point. And yeah, Diddy was on top of the world with what he was doing. But it's like, wait a minute, you were guest in my house. I put you, and we put you collectively as part of his opening. And now you doing shady shenanigans behind the scenes. Like that would have pissed me off too. And I truly believe because y'all was all up in his ear and Justin in his ego that yes, he was looking at it as like, you know what? I do have the ability to go solo, basically trying to be the white equivalent of Michael Jackson. But nevertheless, you went off and decided to become this big solo act and doing all the things you was doing. And it was cute. It worked for a while. But then on the strength of all the problematic things you was doing, the cheating and on your wife, on Britney, and so many others, the Nipplegate with Janet Jackson and so many other things that have been thrown against you. Now you have this Lyme disease situation. And I do think that if he were to go and be able to perform with NSYNC on this arena tour to celebrate the 30th anniversary of their music and possibly work on maybe some new songs to perform on the tour, that it definitely will kill, financial wise. Like I do feel like you get a lot of the moms, soccer moms, whatever, a lot of people who grew up on NSYNC as well as the Justin soloists who will come out and see them perform, which is why I truly never believe that the members of NSYNC like Justin. I think that they tolerate him because he's the biggest star. And then me, I've always looked at it as like I always felt like Justin was using NSYNC because whenever he would come out with new music or whatever the case was, he would always try to find a way to prop them up like little toys or whatever to kind of put out in the audience. Be like, oh, look, it's insane. It's kind of like what Beyonce does with Destiny's Child, but they always try to sit up there and try to act like, oh no, we're just so happy to be. She using you, just like he using y'all. Like let's call it what it is. And I'm talking about perception of how it looks. It always looks like, okay, just to get the fans all excited a little bit, we'll bring out Destiny's Child. I'll do it on the Cowboy Carter tour. And then with Justin, whenever I need to promote my abysmal ass music, I'm gonna prop up NSYNC and bring them out, get everybody excited, and then now everybody wants to see an actual tour with them, and it won't happen. So now the question remains: do people actually want to see this tour, and will it work without Justin? I was going back and forth with this for a moment, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? Maybe it would work because I've seen Queens of R&B, for example. When I did that tour, and that was the SWV and Escape, and then they had all the other groups, 702, Total, a bunch of others. There was a lot, and Maya. Shout out to her. Maya turned it out. But when I saw the other groups, like 702 only had like two members, Total had two members. Remember, there's three. Mr. Pam wasn't there. You know why? There's a reason why I call her that. Mr. Pam wasn't there, so we had Kima and Keisha up there performing the hits, and Escape. They ain't had Latasha. No neck ass. They didn't have her there. The other girls turned it out. And so all the other girls was up there doing their thing, and people still came out and seen those shows. I'm thinking that I don't know if without Justin it would be successful with just them. I'm thinking they're probably gonna have to do this tour like it's similar to Queens of R&B, where you're gonna have to probably bring out a bunch of different boy bands and tour with them. If you did with a tour with New Kids on the Block, Insane, I mean, well, you are Insane, New Kids on the Block, Backstreet Boys, and you brought like, dare I say it, 98 Degrees, or some of these other boy bands, if y'all kind of just, white people, y'all always still look for black folks anyway, so I'm gonna just give you this one. If y'all did something like that, maybe it would work. Maybe to test the waters, because we do have Jingle Ball coming up at Madison Square Garden at the end of the year. Do it every year. Maybe you need to test out the waters and have NSYNC as the quartet come out and perform those songs. See how people get a feel of it. And if the buzz is what it is on social media, then we can start talking about, okay, the demand is there and we want to see this tour happen. And then y'all be able to do it without Justin. Or maybe there'll be some days you do it with Justin, do without. But then again, people are going to have these expectations thinking he's going to be able to come out and perform. So I don't know. It's just up to the people. But I definitely want to hear from y'all and see if y'all go, if there's a possibility that this situation would work, because it's like I like NSYNC, but here's the thing: I like the Backstreet Boys better. I felt like, well, and then the Backstreet Boys was smart. They tried to go solo. Remember, AJ tried to do a little solo thing. Nick tried to do a solo thing. Y'all didn't care. Kevin's voice was never strong enough to even be a soloist. But then again, didn't Victoria Beckham put out an album and she can't sing worth a lick? So, so I don't think it matters. There's only very few members of the Spice Girls that were able to have successful music careers. First of all, I think it was only one member out of all the girls that had a successful solo career, and that was Mel C. Mel B's more of a reality star, but Mel C was the only one that's had a significant solo career, but still comes back to the Spice Girls and does stuff. But that's just me. But I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Do you think that people care enough to want to go see NSYNC on tour, especially without Justin Timberlake? And I think that he knows that him being the big star, that he was been able to do what he was able to do. Somebody else pointed this out to me, and I didn't even think about this because I was like, none of them have really been able to do anything outside of, well, their own music solo stuff. Joey's done Broadway. Lance has gotten more into the entrepreneurial business. I don't know what Kris has been doing. Eating, I don't know. And what's the other one? JC, I don't know what he's been up to. I know he did like some little musical situation. I don't know what happened with that. I don't think anybody cared because I did see that he was promoting it, but maybe like early this year or last year or something. I can't remember. There'd be so many stories I cover. I can't remember what everybody does. So, Justin's the only one that's pretty much had the career. But then somebody else pointed this out to me. I guess with the bad contracts and with how Lou Pearlman treated them or whatever, they filed the lawsuit, they sued, and they won a lot of money. So it's like they have enough money, I believe, that they've accumulated from those bad deals and the way that they were used and abused by Lou Pearlman. But at this point, career-wise, I think it's just for the nostalgia of it all and the fact that they just want to get out there and perform. So I don't even think it's about the money. I mean, the money, I'm sure, is a plus. Because look, the Backstreet Boys making $4 million a show at the Sphere. When that one starts up again, I think, when does it start up, in December? So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Not gonna bring up Kim's enemy Taylor again, but a viral. Oh yeah, I read that one. Well, look, when you split for tone, it is Joey Fat One, right? He said, yeah, he definitely did. He ruined Dream. Not only ruined Dream, but didn't Nick Carter allegedly R-word one of the members? Allegedly, Joey was yeah, he was. Yeah, because there weren't really that many lookers in the group. I mean, I did like JC. Well, from what I heard, Norwoods are from the same kind of Christian church I was brought up in. So, based on that mindset, they know Ray J's a mess. They just likely won't talk of it publicly. Well, didn't they have a reality show at one point? That was a mess. The Golden Girls gonna get some fever. Speaking of Golden Girls, I know they canceled the gay Golden Girls, right? Mid City Modern. They don't need no DC. She ain't no JT. Well, she need to stop stringing them girls along. The Jackson 3. Kris was on reality TV. Oh yeah, he was. He was on Celebrity. Oh yeah, he did do it. He was on Celebrity Big Brother. Remember when him and Todd? Well, no, he didn't get it. Well, yeah, he did get into it with fraud. When Todrick. Todrick was being messy, not making jingles for cat treats. Is that for real? But yeah, Kris, I remember he was on Celebrity Big Brother because I did watch the season he was on when with Todrick Hall. Todrick's still in London. But anyway, I'm screaming. I just saw something that somebody sent me. Conservative guys scared of cities. Oh, they were talking about oh, speaking of which, did y'all hear about the Simpsons? Don't the Simpsons have a movie or something coming out? I remember hearing something about that. But anyway, let's get into our final topic, y'all. Let's talk about RuPaul's Drag Race. So, there was some rumors, and there's only a reason why I brought this up because there's been a rumor that's been floating around all over social media, and I didn't believe it. They were talking about that there were rumors that because of the current administration, everything that we're going through, that RuPaul's Drag Race could be in danger of being canceled, that sort of thing. First of all, that franchise is way too big for them to even consider trying to cancel it, especially on Paramount, whatever the case is. And if that does happen, the contract runs out. World of Wonder will find a new home for it, and or maybe World of Wonder be like, you know what, we'll just house it on our own streaming service. So, well, I don't know, whatever their contract is, they'll figure out a way to shop it somewhere else. But like I said, RuPaul's Drag Race is too big of a brand for them to even consider getting rid of. So I can't see that possibly happening, especially with Drag Race UK, what is it? Episode 2 just aired. I got to catch up on that. Drag Race España just started their season. I didn't get to watch it yet. So the franchise is still going relatively strong. But so with in news, that should pretty much surprise no one. The flagship franchise RuPaul's Drag Race has offered an update on the future of the globally renowned battle between Glamazons. Casting for season 19 is now open. Now, announced today, that would be October, well, they said October 2nd, but today is the 3rd, via a video posted from Drag Race production company World of Wonder, social media accounts featuring Mama Ru herself. The next installment is getting ready to snatch wigs, with applicants able to submit applications until November 14th. So I do have that video where we can play it and y'all can hear it and we'll come back and we'll talk. Please hold.
Gina already done had her. Casting for season 19 of RuPaul's Drag Race is now open. If you have the charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent to be crowned America's next drag superstar, go to worldofwonder.com/casting. This could be the beginning of the rest of your life.
This could be the beginning of the rest of July, as they would say. So yeah, so I'm gonna give y'all a second just to catch it in case y'all be up in here watching. It's like, yeah, final deadline 11/14/25 at midnight Pacific Standard Time. Worldofwonder.com/casting. We haven't even gotten season 18 yet, and they're already plotting for season 19, which is very much typical of RuPaul's Drag Race, but they do this all the time. It's like right around now they start putting out the whole thing for Drag Race and that sort of thing. Um I'm looking forward to seeing like which queens are going to be on the upcoming season when that actually happens. But with all that being said, a couple of things. They said that the show hasn't been officially renewed for season 19, but seasons of the show often film before official green light. Well, this is what they always do. It's like, we have to really get a confirmation? We know that season 19 is coming. If they're out there telling you, sending your applications for season 19, we're currently casting, obviously we're going to get it. And then you have to wait. I don't know why they do it like that when they do it the trades. Oh, well, season 19 has been greenlit. And it's like, the show's been in the can for a year, but now you're announcing we're getting a new season. Like, it's so stupid the way they do that, but that's the way they do things. But she said this is the beginning of the rest of July. She adds over clips of past RuPaul Drag Race champions, including season 17 winner Anya Nerve, season 16's Nymphia Wind, and season 15's Sasha Colby, and season 13's Simone Ye. Secondly, they said, we know what you're thinking, and you're right. Season 18 of RuPaul's Drag Race was not even yet begun airing, let alone concluded. And to that, we say that the devil works hard, but RuPaul works harder. And on the more Nancy Drew-esque side of things, some drag detectives have already pulled together a cast list for All Stars 11. Well, we kind of all knew that, and we talked about it a little bit when it came down to All Stars 11. And then also, as I said before, Drag Race UK has opened its casting for season 8, even though season 7 just started last week, and they just already in their second episode, first elimination. But the first episode, they didn't eliminate nobody. So yeah, so once again, if you're interested in signing up to be a part of RuPaul's Drag Race season 199, there goes the casting information for you to be able to be a part of. Okay. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? know anybody who want to be on Drag Race or trying to get on Drag Race, or you want to sign up for Drag Race, whatever the case is, get the information. Is there. I'll cut it up and put it all over the social medias for those who want to pause or do whatever. If you can pause this full episode if you want. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Well, our fake lesbian mayor of Tampa. Well, you got a fake lesbian mayor? What, the one that allegedly there was a disqualification? I was asking a friend of mine, I was like, did he hear anything? He was like, I hadn't heard anything. I may have to get back on that. Was it Discord Adams? Was that the T that you were trying to tell me about? I love telling you T about a show I don't like all that much. um, yeah, but when I asked him, I was like, he had no idea. He was like, oh, I hadn't heard anything. But I'm like, I could yeah, there was a rumor going around that there was that they were disqualified for assaulting another queen or something or another. I remember hearing that, but we'll see if that tea actually comes out. Or I'll have to just fan out and fish around and see if anybody knows what happened, because nobody knows what I'm talking about. All right, y'all. So now it looks like we're done with today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Kris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, please hit that like button, smash the notification bell, hit the subscribe, all that good stuff. Definitely share. We're almost at 3K. I'm happy. Even though it's a little channel that could. It says she put out a tweet. I think it got deleted. You said Shay put out a tweet. Isn't this Court Adams one of Shay Kool-Aid's drag daughters? I'm trying to remember. I believe hearing that. And we already knew the drama that was going around with Shea Coulee and all her drag daughters apparently abandoning her and not wanting anything to do with her. That thing has been so. There's been a lot to follow with that whole story. Oh, she's not. Oh, what? That's what it was. It was something racist. Well, I mean, didn't maybe to dig into that. But anyway, these drag girls, y'all are out here being messy. So yeah, love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll be back. I don't know if I'll probably be back this weekend, but if not, I'll see you guys on Monday. Hopefully there'll be a lot more stories that we can talk about on this channel. Lord forbid if anything else crazy don't happen over the weekend, then I might just jump on. But other than that, I'll see you guys on Monday with a brand new episode. Love you all for watching. You tried it. There may be some truth to that. But anyway, so love you all for watching, and darlings,